friend said, "Why are you not using the intro music?"
In which way?
He was just like, the beat's not playing on the intro music.
So it's playing. I can make it louder. I can make it louder.
Are we start?
We could, yeah. We could make it louder.
That was like a really wild intro to do today's show.
If you want it louder, we can make it louder. Well, how do you want the intro?
I mean, when I listen to it, it just sounds like our voices starting and then.
All right, cool. Hello, everybody.
I'm not sure when we're gonna get this right, but we're gonna get it right one day.
Cool. So, hey, everybody, and welcome to episode 7 of Juice and the Sauce podcast. You're joined by your two hosts, Lisimba and Nastassja.
Hi.
I want to thank you guys for listening to another episode. So Juice and the Sauce is a show that chops up and serves you live topics narrated through the love of food and, most importantly, desserts. Charismatic random stories for a sweet entree followed by a meaty main course, discussions and recommended flavours from the continent to round up this foodie's delight of a podcast.
You did that. That was amazing.
Thank you.
You're
waiting for me to fail, right?
No. I was actually just like, yes.
Cool.
Like, yes.
How's your week been?
My week it's been good, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's been good. It's been random.
Okay.
It's been random, but overall, it's been a good ending. It started out a bit fuzzy, but we've had a good ending to the week. Caking as usual. And then I went to Reggae Brunch for my sister's birthday. It was my sister's birthday on Friday. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I just burped there. I'm really sorry. It's a silent internal burp. Sorry.
We forgive you.
And so she wanted to go to Reggae Brunch. And I've never been before. I know you've been. And where do I start? You know, I think I don't want to say I'm fussy with food.
Okay.
But when I go to brunches, when I've been to other brunches, what I really appreciate is the swiftness of service. Mm-hmm. Not to say that Reggae Brunch gives it away that the service isn't going to be... that it's not going to be swift. No, I actually just want to give a really kind of good critique. Is it a critique or just an overview of what I felt?
Sure.
And this is my personal take on the Reggae Brunch. Let me tell you, if you want to go out for vibes on a Saturday early afternoon to late afternoon, I would completely buy a ticket for the vibes, just for the vibes, because their vibes were on lock. The MC, the DJ, the way he just carried you through the brunch was amazing. Good vibes. You went from old school reggae to the new school, and even at the end they dropped in some Afro beats, which was nice. It was a nice little flavor. But let me tell you, so the vibes is great, 1,000 on lock. So I'd definitely go again for the vibes, the end of the vibes. Now the food. Y'all know I love my dessert, innit? Mm-hmm. I don't want to start off backwards, but let me start off from forward. So getting into the way they do it is it starts at 11:30. So the doors open 11:30, and between 12 and 1 o'clock, you get unlimited rum punch. Let me tell you, if you're expecting some hardcore strong rum punch, just expect pineapple juice with a hint of mango. Let's not even go there. I got there slightly towards the end of the unlimited kind of rum punch. So when I did get the rum punch, I was just like, okay, this is juicy. This is Suncrest juice. Great. Cool. I get why they won't put that much rum in it, but at the same time, Let me tell you, if you put a substantial amount of rum, I'm not even trying to go for a second cup of rum. I'm kind of just going for water. I'm going for water. But let me tell you, if you're not going to put that much rum in it, I'm going to keep coming back. But anyway, I got like a cup, and my sister, like, if you were there from early, you would have got your unlimited kind of thing. So the rum punch for me was just like, if you want me to give it a mark out of 10, let's just say it was a juicy 3.5. 4. Like, there was, I can't even say it met the middle. There was it, because it was very, very watered down.
Sure.
Right. So my sister had booked a birthday package. So we had a table, which was really cool. And then it took a while for the food to come out. Like I said, Reggae Brunch will give it away to say the service will be slow. You know, if you thought your Caribbean shop was slow, Reggae Brunch was tiny. Let's just say the service wasn't as swift. Anyway, so the starters we had was, I think they were like vegetable fritters.
It wasn't saltfish fritters, it was vegetables.
I didn't taste no saltfish in there. If there was saltfish fritters, I didn't taste it in there. Like, that's just my fair opinion. Like, they were nice, but if they were, I would have said they were. If you told me they were vegetable, I'd believed you. But if you're telling me what they saltfish are, I just like, I don't know. I didn't. Nah. The fish weren't salty. If it was in there, I didn't taste the fish. I would just say, like, the presentation, I mean, it was cute, and they had some, like, the garnish was just like, fam, it's just sweet corn floating on its own. Why? Just move it off. Anyway.
Yeah.
And then main course, I think it took from the starter to the main course, I don't want to lie, it was probably like an hour. And I was just like, I don't want to, I feel like I'm becoming my parents, where you sit down in a restaurant and go, but no, fam, where's the food? Like, where's the food? And I'm not going to lie, the vibes were good, but if you've, like, I left my house at like early morning to get there, so I'm hungry. And one of the things is, it's just like, it's such a great concept. Like, honestly, like I'm saying, the vibes are on 1000. You cannot deny reggae brunch's vibes. But let me tell you, something that would have just made me forget that I was waiting for that rice and peas and jerk chicken would be, fam, where are the nibbles on the table? It doesn't cost much to get plantain. I always say this, and I don't understand. Like, this is one thing I will never kind of like seem to kind of understand, that plantain is like one. And I want to say this as well. See, if this was Afrobeats brunch, they'd have chin chin. They'd have, you know this, they'd have plenty of chin chin on the table to make you forget that you're waiting for your jollof. You know what I mean? And it's that kind of thing where I was just like, if there was just like some plantain crisp, or I don't know, what other Caribbean like nibbles are there? Like, I know there are, like, my mind's just gone blank, but something very simple, not like massively, something not it's inexpensive. I think like just having some plantain crisp or some plantain chips on the table wouldn't have gone amiss, because let me tell you, if there's something to nibble on, then I'm going to forget that the main course is taking that long, because there's vibes, and I can, then we can have the tropical juice, aka rum punch, you know, that could have made it flow out. And even like one of my sister's friends that was there, he was just like, yeah, I mean, let me tell you, yeah. And he was like, I know if it was a Nigerian, you know, as West African, like Afro beats, there'd be chin chin as well. And I was like, that's one thing that you cannot falter. There'll be chin chin and puff puff on the table that you'll be eating it, and you'd forget that the jollof rice has been delayed. You know what I mean? And that's the kind of thing that I think kind of goes amiss. But if I'm being honest, like, because I suppose because we were sitting upstairs, and downstairs, that's where the DJ was, and everybody downstairs, it seemed like they didn't mind. But I suppose then I thought maybe it's just me. But then I asked other people on the table, and they were just like, yeah, I'm not going to lie. Like, if there was like just some nibbles, we'd forget that the time was like, it was an hour. So the funniest thing is, like, so we've been there from like, let's just say 12. We get the main course at like 20 past 2. And so the main course comes. I'm not gonna lie, the rice and peas was actually all right. Like
Okay.
there was actually sauce with the jerk chicken, and I really appreciated that, because sometimes you can just get like, you know, rice and peas ain't like jollof, and you can't just eat rice and peas on its own. That it needs sauce to go. Because you're gonna be coughing. Your throat is gonna be like dry. You know, you're gonna have to conjure up so much saliva to chew that rice and peas down with your saliva in it. So it comes and there's like the minuscule portion of coleslaw, but I have to say that minuscule portion of coleslaw that was on the plate actually carried through. I think it's because like the jerk chicken was saucy.
Okay.
So it was fine. I can't remember. Don't ask me if there was plantain on that plate or not, because I can't remember. But I definitely know that there was like a festival or a dumpling, which was like the size of I wouldn't say Malteser. That's not that. It was bigger than that.
Maltese? Okay.
No, it was bigger than that. It was like, I wouldn't say it's a giant gobstopper. It was like a size of a
Satsuma?
half the size of a Satsuma.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a diddy ball, you know, but it filled me up. So I was just like, okay, cool, you know, and then the dessert. Well, what can we say that ended the meal? Nothing, because I didn't even get my dessert. And this is the thing, like, I'm a dessert. Cool, the rice and peas chicken gone. So now we're waiting for the dessert, right? And so the DJ started the vibes. Everybody's dancing. We're like, cool. We've eaten. And then the woman brings over, before actually the vibes, actually, the woman brings over, because my sister's birthday package included like a bottle of, well, they said it's Prosecco, but it weren't no Prosecco. It was some brute. It wasn't. I don't even know what it was. Just fizzy shot. It was fizzy wine, right?
Okay.
So she brought over the fizzy wine, and she also had some shots. If I'm telling you that the rum, let me tell you, the rum punch was just about rum punch, right? The shots was like Suncrest. That was like apple juice. It wasn't even, you know, like in uni, you got those like cool shots. You got those coloured shots when you were in uni, and they were like £1.50. I don't know what they were called. I think they're called Kick or something like that. Respect us, innit? Respect that we bought the birthday package and actually give us a shot, because give us like a shot of something. Let me tell you, that wasn't even like a Jaeger bomb. If it was, they're trying to pass that off as a Jaeger bomb. That was straight up apple juice, because let me tell you, we all were so excited, you know, like, especially if we could just imagine a group of girls getting like shots at the table, and then, shots, and then we go for the shots, and we take, everybody's like, cheers, and we like, drink. And our faces were just like,
What was that?
And we were just like, someone was like, what was that, apple juice or some sort of tropical? And we were just like, yeah, that wasn't a shot, really. And then somebody took another one just to make sure that like probably the rum punch had got to us. And they were just like, no, straight up apple juice. And like straight up tropical juice. And my sister's friend was like, this must be like the scam of the decade, like literally. And I was just like, you know what, for the amount that we paid, because as much as you would think like the birthday package was just £50, no, each of the people attending paid their like, what, £35. So altogether there was like 10 of us. And then my sister paid for the 50 for the table. Come on. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like where I'm just kind of like, my experience of knowing that that's what you serve. I really, not to say that I wouldn't go back, but it's just kind of like, I feel slightly, and then not to get the dessert. And the fact is, the way that we didn't get the dessert is just like, they were bringing around the dessert, and they kind of just like skipped our table. And so when I said to my sister, just ask the lady who's like serving us where the dessert is. So the lady was just like, oh yeah, it's coming, while she was collecting other plates. And then afterwards she came back around and she still didn't have like the dessert. I was like, And then somebody else from our table asked her, sorry, when is our cake coming? She was like, no, it's coming. And then I was just like, hold up. Like, if she comes back round again, does she want me to follow her to the kitchen? Just so I can see. And it's that kind of courtesy that the next time she came around, she was like, yes, it's coming. And it never appeared. And it was, for me, it's kind of just like, don't shortchange us, innit? We've all paid our money and we all want to have like the full experience. And that's what it is. It's just like, if the dessert ran out, you could have just said to me, you know what? The numbers, like, we just counted out. There's no more desserts. I would have actually been fine with that. And that's what it is with me, that communication. But then again, it's just like, for what we had, and the fact that our rum was shortchanged, the rum was shortchanged, the shots were shortchanged, none of us got a dessert. There's no one, and this is the thing about these kind of events, like, there's nobody that you can complain to and say, oh, I can get my money back, or I can get like, or they can say, oh, you know, we'll give you discounted for the next time you want to come, blah, blah, blah. There's nobody that you can get that to. And that's why I just like, this is my personal opinion on the Reggae Brunch. I enjoyed the vibes. I enjoyed the party section, but the level of service that we received for the food part, that would not make me return. It would be more like, if someone says we're going Reggae Brunch, I'll be like, yeah, I see you. I definitely go to the Caribbean shop down the road from my house. I know that I'm going to get exactly what I ordered. And I'll say, I'll see you for the party section. I'll definitely bop in by like 2:00. I'll be there just to enjoy the vibes, because the vibes, undoubtedly one of the best vibes that I've been to. But the food is just kind of like,
it's funny, my mom always said to me when I was growing up, like, make sure you eat before you go out. Make sure your belly's
let me
full.
tell you, I wanted to do that, but I honestly just didn't want to get there and feel like full.
Yeah.
Because my eyes tend to be bigger than my actual stomach. So I could have had like a wicked breakfast at home, got there and been like, I can't even ask for a takeaway box. You know what I mean? Because I'm not trying to take away food from like Reggae Brunch. So I was like, you know what, whatever I'm gonna eat there should kind of fill me up. And one thing is, the main course, the jerk chicken, that did actually fill me up. My sister did say, one of my sisters who was there, like, I've got 3 sisters, so one of the twins, the younger ones who was there, she was just like, did you enjoy that chicken? And I was like, yeah, it was actually quite nice. I said, nah, it tasted like they just warmed it up in the microwave. And I was just like, that was her opinion. I was just like, I don't know. But I get it, like, you know, catering for, what's the average tickets that they have? Like, I don't know.
I went a long time ago, and when I went, it was like £38. So I call it £40.
Yeah, like I'll call it a £40 because like it was like £36. So for me, it's just like bus fare, make it £40.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Round it up. But look, so when you told me you were going, I did try to warn you, but at the same time, I didn't want to like.
And I appreciate that, because like you told me that the rum was going to be watered down, and I was just like, I don't know how much they can water it down, but I don't even think, sorry to cut you off, but I don't actually think in that venue, during that event, they were even serving proper alcohol. Because I then ordered, I then had a Malibu and lemonade. I know that sounds like a mad concoction, but it actually tastes really good. So I had a Malibu and lemonade. Let me tell you, that just tasted like, that just was straight lemonade. Because when I tasted the Malibu on its own, and I think what they do is, I'm not sure, but because they do, I know in Mexico, when I was in Cancun, their bars have a really kind of weird drinks policy, but I get it. So in Cancun, when you go raving on their strip, you can buy, you buy like your entry ticket. And your entry ticket is like something, when I went to Cancun, it was like about, I think it's like 2-3 years ago now. It's like about £25 or £30 to get into the club, something like that. But the drinks are free. So, but the drinks that they're giving you that are free are unbranded. So it's like supermarket version of Malibu, supermarket version of Hennessy. If you want the premium stuff like the Hennessy and your JD and your Malibu, you pay for that. And I get it, because I'm not saying, but then again, when you're in Cancun, even those, the free drinks that you get in the club, let me tell you, I think there's only one club that we went to, two clubs actually, that we kind of got the premium drinks, because like the free drinks with the ticket were very, very watered down. But let me tell you, in some of the clubs on the strip in Cancun, they ask you, the bartender's asking you, is this enough liquor? Like, and I'm just like, pardon. And it's just like, for them, it's just like, you tell me when to finish, like, but this is their supermarket version stuff. So it's pretty strong. So you can kind of choose how strong you want it. So for me, when I was having that Malibu, it kind of gave me those vibes. I was just kind of like, maybe what they've done is they've gone and got supermarket version of Malibu and stuff, but just poured it in the Malibu bottle. And then just, that's why, because if you think about it, the upsell is of £9, like you're making a killing. Like, and that single cost me like £9.50, which is kind of like, I think that's just kind of just general price kind of in clubs. I don't know. I hardly go out like that these days, but I was just like, this is just not, this isn't Malibu.
I didn't look. I obviously I'd hope that's not what they're doing. I wouldn't know. I just know that when I went,
or maybe I'm just an alcoholic. That's the other thing. Maybe I drink a lot, so therefore I couldn't taste it. I don't know.
Nah, I think like it is watered down. Like so I mostly agree with what you're saying. Like my experience when I went there, like, the vibe is like sick. Like people like just vibing, the DJ, like everybody's just enjoying themselves. Like it's like, I'd actually, recommend people to go for the vibe.
Yeah, definitely. 1000%.
For the food, like like it's like there's no the food's not on point.
If you're like foodies like me and you, right? We actually want to go for the food experience as much as we want to go for the vibes. We want like the food experience. Do you get what I mean?
As you said that, I just remembered like when I last went, it was a long time ago, but there were some people there that weren't, I guess, from a Caribbean background, and I was just thinking in my head, like, they might not know what it's meant to taste like. So for them, having it might have been like, ooh, like this is,
I
something
completely
new.
agree with you. Like on Saturday, there was this group of Caucasian boys, white boys, and they seem to enjoy. They seem to enjoy the food, and I'm not saying they don't know what Caribbean food is like, or let's just say Jamaican food is supposed to taste like. But it's one of those things, and it's funny because my sister's one of the twins' friends was there, and she's Caucasian too. But I mean, I saw my sister. I peeped over I saw my sister shredding the chicken for her from the bone, and she was like, "Don't judge me. I don't like chicken from." And I was like, "You don't need to finish your sentence. I already know what you're gonna say. I don't know any. I don't know if I've ever seen a white person eat chicken from the bone." So I was just like, "It's cool, man." And I was like, "Did you like it?" And she was like, "It was nice, but it was too spicy for her."
Okay.
And I was just like, but she enjoyed well, I don't know. She looked like she just pushed the food around on the plate. Sure. Like when all the food has just been spread. Yeah. And especially that the chicken came on the bone, that probably like threw her off like literally tenfold. And I was just like, she was just like, "Don't judge." And I was just like, "Cleo, man, you're too cool. Like, I ain't judging you. I just find it hilarious." Like, and I was like, "You're actually missing out on the sweetest part of the chicken. That's the craziest part." But I can guarantee, like, they look like they had the time, like they enjoyed the food the time of their life. But I suppose because we know what good jerk chicken, or I mean, I actually like the jerk chicken, but I mean,
so it was a while ago. I don't remember exactly how the food came. I just remember when I got it. I'm pausing because I'm trying not to lay into them, but at the same time, like, it is what it is. It wasn't on point. Like,
Yeah.
it just,
I mean, I like, my review is kind of just like, I wouldn't want to say that I'm laying into that, but I'm just like, what would make me want to go for the food section again is if there was just a bit more service, and even the people serving the food, they just looked very dull. And I'm just like, fam, this is Reggae Brunch. You should be drawing around. You should be winding up your waist, bringing me this jerk chicken or something like that. But I get it. You know, you're trying to serve like 3-4 tables at the same time. But I just don't appreciate that I didn't get my dessert and the woman was lying to me.
the thing is, all right, cool. So like, obviously you should have got your dessert.
Yeah.
Number one. But I think like another thing is, like, just looking at, I guess, what they're doing with the food and stuff, is that, no, when you know, I guess, a bit more about like food and how it's made,
Yeah.
and like, to get great tasting food, you don't have to do that much. Some of the most like tasty stuff is like, you know, barbecue stuff, or just like, it's very simple to do, but it can be great tasting. Do you know?
Yeah. No, completely. It's just like one of the things that I'm not saying that like, here's a tip, Reggae Brunch. No, this isn't a tip, but I think one thing that I've learned in, especially like the service of food, one thing that would make it completely easier, whether they listen to this podcast and take it on board or not, like, literally, it's especially when you've got the party bookings, you don't technically need to serve it out for each person on a plate. What you need to do is bring the chicken out on a platter, the rice in a bowl, the coleslaw in a bowl, and the salad in a bowl, because everybody, because you know there's 9 people on that table, we can help ourselves, and that just makes it easier and just makes it faster, because you would have already set out the plates. Like, it's just simple. It's like when the starter came on, like, the plate was so they had like these platters, like these plate platters that they brought 3, like it was just kind of like, for me, it was just like, I get what you're trying to do with the presentation, but it's Reggae Brunch. I'm not expecting, I'm actually just not expecting like, I'm not expecting Michelin star like design on the plate. I mean, if you just brought those fritters out on a lovely platter with like 2 dips, and just left it on the table and had side plates where we can all just pick, and knowing that there's 3 per person, honestly, I would have, like, that for me, the service would have been speedier, it would have been cleaner, and it would have, like, you could just see how stressed the people were who were serving the food. And I was just like, there are so many simple things that I would just come in and just make those changes, because you can have 1 person serving 3 tables and get it over and done with so quickly, especially for the party bookings, because those are the ones that are, I would say, like, because there's so many people around a table, you're kind of just like, where's the food kind of thing. And you could just say, and like I'm saying, like, just having small nibbles on the table doesn't go amiss. And what that does is, like, if there's nibbles on the table, people don't notice that the food is taking so long. And I think that's a thing that people really miss. But I think West African, like African cuisine, does it so well, because we're never short of nuts on the table. It's just like having like some nuts. You know what I mean? Having some chin chin, having some puff puff, having some plantain chips, like something that's not expensive and just something that can easily be topped up. Even freaking Wotsits, for goodness sake. I wouldn't care.
You'd be pissed if there were Wotsits on the table.
Look, I've been to pies with Wotsits on the table, and you're cussing the Wotsits, but let me tell you, you end up eating them Wotsits. Like, hungry, you humble yourself to those Wotsits. You know, you're like, who's putting Wotsits on the table? Trust me, I've been to parties where I look at something, I'm like, why the heck do you have like some random crisp on the table? After honestly, you will humble yourself when you realize that the food is taking so long, and you appreciate that those Wotsits or whatever random crisp was on the table. And that's what it just needed. Those small touches would make, for me anyway, the experience much better. I think as well, because I'm genuinely, I do love food, and I do love going to the brunches where there's a great vibe and the food is just like so timely. And the other thing is, because they took so long bringing out the main course, you know, you don't have enough time to enjoy the vibes. Do you get what I mean? So by the time we'd finish eating, it was 3:00. Like, let's just say 3:30. By the time the dessert, like, that's why we didn't get our desserts, because the time was running out, and you have to leave the venue at 4:00, 4:30. Like 4:30, it's done.
So one thing I do want to say though, just to paint a picture that's not all like doom and
Yeah,
gloom.
yeah, it's not even doom and gloom. I'm just talking about the food section, and I keep it, like I've said, this was just my experience.
Sure.
But go for the vibes. Like, I would say anybody who wants a great vibe and great Caribbean vibes, just go. But just understand that rum is one of them.
Yeah, you're not. There's no. Just put it in your mind. There's no rum there, right?
Yeah.
And just put in your mind that.
And you're happy to drink the juice.
Yeah, basically. But one thing I just wanted to say on the flip side.
Yeah.
As much as we're speaking about the experience, like, I guess they're also great to like learn from, because the reason why I say that as well is that, like, I know many people that are doing like supper clubs and all those kind of things. They're not hitting those numbers.
Yeah.
Right? And it's what I mean to learn from as well is just like the experience that people are getting in this thing is just like, that's what's making people come back.
Yeah, that's why I said I would totally go back, regardless of the food, for the vibes. Like, and that's one thing I would say. If the vibes were, if we put it the other way, and you had great foods, but the vibes weren't really hitting it, I would have been like, oh, it was a great. But because like the vibes were hitting it, I'm talking about the food because I remember the vibes. But if I didn't have anything, then I would have been like. But definitely somebody would like, and basically my review is coming from someone who just likes to, like, I love to eat in it, like, so I'm expecting like the food to be on point. But like I said, it's not like the food was bad, like, that's the thing. It's just the way it was, the service that just came with the food. And I think that's the thing to bear in mind, that go there with the mind that it's not going to be speedy. You're going to be waiting, so line your stomach, but enjoy the vibes.
Yeah, 100%. So look, I think there's nothing wrong with talking more about the food, because this is a food show after all.
Yeah.
And then I was just thinking in my head as you were speaking, like, if it was a restaurant and there was no like party afterwards, and I was going and that was what on the menu, I wouldn't go.
Yeah, definitely. Because I would just be like, yeah, my Caribbean shop down the road just does a great, I can have vibes in my bed whilst eating the food. So definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my weekend. But what was yours?
Mine was just grinding. I didn't do nothing special. Just nothing. No news. Sorry guys, I don't have any stories this week from my world. Just been grinding, laying down, I guess, groundwork for this food I'm trying to make.
Okay, so that's good. But I am doing a pop-up. Like, I am. What? It's like, what are you trying to say? I am actually doing my first Christmas market in like years, actually.
Okay.
On Friday at the Rich Mix.
Okay.
So this coming Friday, I'm going to be at the Rich Mix. I'm going to be selling my sexy wares.
Just tell them
not sexy wares, as in my sexy clothes. Let me get that right. Like, literally, and not my sexy wares, not my sexy self. I will be selling my cakes, my indulgent sugar plum cakes. That's what I'm going to be. And my cakes not as in my ass either. Like, cakes as in cakes you can eat. Like this, you know what? It's just going like, you know what?
Edible
I'm saying,
cakes.
well, people be eating all sorts of cakes these days. But I'm just saying, cakes, cookies. What am I going to have? I'm going to have brownies, pecan pie, my infamous pecan pie.
Share the date, because...
The date is it the 5th of December? Yes, it is the 5th of December.
Okay.
I think.
Friday the 6th.
Friday the 6th of December. Maybe this thing is on the 5th of December. Hold on. I just need to check my calendar.
Yeah, go ahead.
So what am I going to have? I'm going to have brownies, pecan pie.
Pecan pie, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
It is the 6th, actually. So it's a ABC Christmas market. It's hosted by a group called Afford Business Club. Oh.
What do you just realize?
It's Thursday, the 5th of December. I would have turned up on Friday.
you
I don't
imagine?
even know. Like, this is why I'm just a bit kind of like, I'm frazzled all the time. I would have cut the time. So it's actually on Thursday. That means I have to literally get myself together.
Imagine if you didn't do the show, you turned up.
Fam, like, I do this all the time. All I knew was like the 5th, and I literally thought the 5th was Friday for some reason, because Friday would be a good day to do a pop-up, but it's actually Thursday the 5th. It's funny because and this is what happens. Like, sometimes my dates just literally go, but I'm glad that I checked it. So that means tomorrow I'm just going to be like baking myself silly. So I'm going to be there on Thursday.
What time?
Between 11 o'clock and 8 p.m.
Okay.
So come down to Rich Mix. Yeah, I'm going to have pecan pie. I really, really want to get my pumpkin pie out of the door as well, because I don't do that often. So definitely try get some pumpkin pie, brownies. I'm not going to do my big cupcakes, but I'm going to have mini cupcakes because I think those ones are just easier. And just a selection of loaf cakes, really.
Nice. Sounds tasty.
Yeah.
If I get time, I might pass by and get some cake myself.
Yeah, I'm so glad I checked it. I always do this, and it's just like, Nastassja, get yourself together.
Wow. You've been under a lot of pressure recently, so
Let me tell you.
it happens. Cool. So I think we should move on to the starters for today. And it is a story about, I'll read you the title. Parents react as nursery introduces totally vegan menu. So basically, we got some parents here who are blasted a nursery because of what they've done is they've introduced Britain's first 100% vegan menu for their children there. It's set to kick off in January, and they're removing all meat, fish, eggs, and all dairy products, adopting an entirely plant-based menu for 260 children between the ages of 0 to 4. They're not happy at all. Would you be happy?
Not really, no. Not without them consulting me and writing me a letter, first of all. I think there is... I'm very double-edged sword on this in terms of, I understand that they are trying to be healthier with a apostrophe, and then I get what, and then there's this whole thing about everybody should eat less meat and it's greener for the climate. But my thing is, people can develop like a lot of, plant-based, what am I trying to say? So you're going to turn the whole menu vegan, but have you consulted the parents, and do parents know what their children are allergic to? Because if you're just using purely like nut-based, personally, like nut-based milk, if you are allergic to it, there are people who have allergies to coconut. Do I feel comfortable with my child drinking soya milk? The question, well, that's the question. The answer for me is no. I'm not a huge soya fan. I know that there've been numerous tests done on soya that show that if you consume a lot of it as a female, it can cause infertility. I'm not sure if that's the same for men. So feeding children all of this kind of like what I call processed non-meat food, I don't think there's enough research behind it. I mean, if to say, yeah, this is safe and this is all good, because I think one thing that people don't realize is that just because something is vegan, it doesn't mean that it's healthy. And especially in this day and age where like literally everybody like vegan is the height of the new, like people think like being vegan is like such a height, it is such a trend now. It's not even like people are doing it for health, but it's like trendy. Oh, I'm vegan. It's just like, okay. But and it's kind of just like, you're seeing these big corporations as well, these big food corporations also jumping on that bandwagon and starting to produce like processed vegan food. Like, I was in Holland and Barrett's the other day, and by their counter they had like because I was getting some. I actually do like it's called. There's a chocolate bar called Vigo, and it's like vegan chocolate. But when I actually read the label, it's not. It's not that much different from normal chocolate, because I would always wonder how can it be like vegan, and it's just because it doesn't have. It just doesn't have any milk in it. That's it. But at the till at Holland and Barrett's, there was like vegan eggs. And I was like, and it was like a powder. And I was like, fam, how you getting? And he was like, oh, there's an offer. Would you like some vegan eggs? And I was like, no, fam.
How do you make vegan eggs?
This is the 10th wonder of the world. If it ain't coming eggs, we all know where the egg. We all know where the egg came from. We just don't know if the chicken or the egg came first, right? Sure. But we all know where the egg comes from, right? When you read the back of the label on these vegan eggs, right? There's so many chemicals and all this stuff that you cannot even pronounce to save your life, but they're out here saying it's vegan eggs, and somehow this is better than eating an egg where you know where it comes from, and if it's got a strain of like this and this, and you know that this, you know what I mean? And this is what worries me, that we are all turning to these alternative meat products without actually knowing the consequences of these alternative meat products. Because if you, it's just one of those things where I would never eat a vegan egg only because I don't know, that's been manufactured to me. That's been processed. That's somebody in a lab that's chemically put stuff together to make it look and taste like egg, but it's not egg. That should worry you more than a normal egg. Do you get what I mean? And that's how common sense it is for me. So for a nursery to start saying we're serving an all vegan menu and an all and we ain't gonna be using meat, fish, and this, then you tell me you're serving scrambled eggs to my child, and the scrambled eggs have come from powder, and I don't even know all of those chemicals are running through my child's. The answer is no. Just give my child a proper egg in it, because I know where the proper egg came from. That is the worry. That a lot of these vegan foods are actually processed foods, and they're actually made in labs. They're not, it's not a vegetable. If you're telling me that you're feeding my child a vegan diet, I expect you to be frying and cooking vegetables day in, day out. I expect it fried. Well, fried, baked, whatever, however you want to do it. But I just need to know that it's only vegetables. You're not using any of these manufactured vegan products. I don't want you to be giving my child like vegan oxtail. Sorry, if it's vegan oxtail, give my child normal oxtail, because I know where it's come from. I know the origin. I don't know the origin of vegan, because for me that's been processed in a lab. That's somebody who's taken their time to put these numbers and all these chemicals together to produce some sort of rubber substance that looks and behaves like oxtail, but isn't oxtail. But nobody's done the research to say, in 10 years' time, what's this going to look like in your stomach? Or what's this going to look like through your body? I don't want to know it.
So initially when I came across this article, the whole, like, you got a great point about processed food and stuff like that. I'll be honest, that didn't initially cross my mind when I first thought about it. But like, it's true. Like we it's very early to, understand where these studies are going. You look at like vaping, everybody thought, oh, it's more healthy. Now it's like, oh, people are dying. It's more dangerous. Vaping.
Oh, yeah, vaping. Yeah.
So like, it's so early days. We don't know what it's going to be like in 10, 20, 30 years, With that said, though, one thing that I would be concerned about, obviously, everybody's got their own way of culture and stuff like that. I don't remember where I read this, right? But I came across that, like, as you're growing, as you're developing and things like that, you need a certain amount of like proteins and things in your diet for your brain to develop and da. So if that's being removed from your diet, how is my child gonna develop and grow without, meeting their nutritional requirements? Like, obviously I don't have no children, but I'm hoping that at that point in time, be in a position where I can give them lunch and the food that they need. But let's say I'm not in that situation, or for anybody else, I'd like to know that their child is getting the necessary nutrients to develop.
Well, you don't want them to suffer from malnutrition. And I just want to make a point here. Malnutrition isn't just somebody, you can be heavy set or a big, whatever size, whether a normal, whatever, can weigh 10 stone and have malnutrition. Malnutrition is you just not getting the nutrients that you need. You don't have to be looking skinny and malnutrition is simple. Like, there's a part of me that suffers from malnutrition because I don't drink enough water. That's a part of you need a certain level of iron, certain other minerals in your thing. And that's the thing. I think that I'm not saying that one possibility, let's just say, is we change this diet and we've got a whole set of kids suffering from malnutrition because they're not getting the right level of protein, they're not getting the right level of iron and stuff. And this is what I'm saying, that it's great that you're doing that with the menu, but make sure you're actually using real vegetables. That's what I mean. If you're going to change it to vegan, because vegan means vegetables. Vegan doesn't mean let's start eating all these processed foods that taste like chicken, but not chicken. That's what my worry is. Don't start giving them oven food that's labeled vegan. I want you to start knowing that if you're giving them a veggie burger, that it's actually vegetables that you baked and put in a bun and said, here's the veggie burger, not a patty that has been squashed down and taken from a freezer and put in the oven. And I think that's the big point here. But when we think of nursery food, come on. When we think about school food in general, they ain't doing that.
No.
We ain't doing no bistro food up in there. It's like your casual oven food that they've just put in the oven and done, and the chips that they fried. I can see a new generation of nursery kids just eating chips all the time.
Why? Because they're vegan.
Because the kids aren't taken to the menu and they're just like, let me have chips. You know what I mean? The most basic of vegan food. Let's give them chips.
Yeah, I could imagine
because if they're not going to be having what they're going to have, vegan sausages and beans.
It just took me back to my school lunch days. My school lunch days were not healthy.
But that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. If they're doing vegan menu, they better be making the food from scratch then, because that's what I see. That if you're telling me that you're doing this, it's good. So that means that's going to be loads of spinach. That's going to be loads of cauliflower. That's broccoli all the time. That's carrots. That's roast potatoes. But if you're not doing that for the kids, just let them just do what you've been doing before.
So to throw a bit of devil's advocate, because obviously we're in agreement here, but just to throw a bit of devil's advocate out there, an argument could be that, it's a form of education to the children by, making them understand why they eat the kind of food that they're eating, why they eat in vegan food, just to become a bit more, I guess, aware of how that's, protecting nature and protecting the animals and all that kind of stuff.
I have no qualms about that. This is how I see it, yeah. You can agree with me or not. You can come for me if you want to. If you were out in the Serengeti and a tiger and a lion was hungry, he ain't gonna be like, boo, I'm a vegan today, I'm gonna let you pass by. He gonna be like, this is the circle of life, bitch, I'm about to chop you down. So I'm not saying to people who are for me, it's not about eating animals every single day. And that's one thing I want to say. People eat meat at their own pleasure, but I do feel like don't come for somebody who wants to eat meat every single day. You know what I mean? Yes, we say that eating less meat is healthier for the climate, but like I said, if it was the animals the other way around, they'll be like, yo, I'm a feast on you tonight. You're looking pretty juicy. They're not gonna let you walk on by, right? But for me, it's a circle of life, and the circle. I'm not saying that we should continuously eat meat and chop every animal down because it's a circle of life. But understand that, fishes be eating, sharks eat fishes. Are we going to start telling the sharks, don't eat the fish because, we need to save the planet? Or the shark are going to look at you and say, do you want to be next? and I don't want to say that I'm not saying that I'm not about saving the planet. I'm just always like, everything is good for you, but in quantities.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? In like when you overindulge, you know you're going to suffer the consequences of you overindulging. That means you've got 3-4 pounds on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
or you're starting to suffer from X, Y, and Z. So everything in quantities. Yes, the human body cannot break down eating like red meat every single day. So why don't you eat red meat once a month or twice a month, or but like I said, for me, it's not like I'm eating beef every single day. I have beef probably when I have a burger, which is like probably once every couple of months, really well and truly. Chicken is different. I probably have chicken once or twice a week, 3 times if I'm feeling that meaty. But it's everything. I do believe everything in quantities. And I don't think, and I'm sure even if you ask the lion, that a lion will be eating meat, like they chop down an antelope like once every couple of weeks. I don't know about their diets like that. But my point is just everything in quantities is good. Yes, they're going to learn about saving the planet and eating, but sometimes I think we get a bit too nanny state about things. Like, it's just kind of like, if you like, we shouldn't eat anything, but any animal. But then again, who's asking the vegetables how they feel? Yeah. Vegetables have feelings too. They're their organs too. They grow. They have hearts. Ain't nobody asking the vegetables if they want to be eaten.
That's really strange because no. The reason why I say it's strange is it's one of those things I perhaps never ever spoken to anybody about, but it has crossed my mind that like sometimes do these plants have a form of understanding of their environment, or
if it's a seed and it can grow. Like I said, one of the things I say to people is, imagine that an oak tree was here when you were born, and it will still be here after you die, because oak trees can grow for hundreds of years. I don't know if it's thousands. Don't quote me on that. I ain't gonna start being like, I'm not a geologist or anything like that. But I just know that oak trees, from the studies I did in school, oak trees can live for hundreds of years. So imagine that an oak tree planted before you were born will still be here after you die. And your lifespan on Earth is what? An average human lifespan is what?
Now, I don't know, 70 years maybe?
Let's just say 70 to 80 years, yeah. And an oak tree can outlive you. But you're out here when you're alive trying to protect the oak tree, but damn, that oak tree hasn't needed your help before, because it's been here before you. So when I put things in logic, like when I think of like nature in that sense, there is a part of me that actually understands that a tree is a life force in itself. When you chop down a tree, that's you're chopping its life in half for your satisfaction, or for whatever reason that you're doing it. But when we're out here eating the leaves of like a pumpkin, or we're pulling the apple of, have you asked the tree how it feels?
Have you seen Avatar?
Yeah, but I can't really remember.
But the whole thing is that like all the life
is connected to each other.
Yeah. And then when so spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Avatar, like just a quick spoiler. Yeah. Right, when they're trying to chop down like the big tree, it's gonna harm the planet because they're all like connected and stuff like that. It just reminded me of that when you were speaking. But personally, like, I rate anybody that's going down the vegan route. Right, I rate them.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I rate them too, because I'm not sure if I could do that. I'm not sure if I could join you, and big props to you.
This is where I am at the minute, because as much as I rate it, I don't have the balls right now to do it, because I eat like meat daily, like, so yeah, I just not brave enough to do it right now. And just, this is completely random topic, but just going back to what you were speaking earlier about like these lions eating stuff and Do you know what I mean?
But this is my common way. That's my common sense way of putting it. Like, people won't agree with me, and I'm happy for someone to really tune me in on that too.
Sure.
Or educate me more on that. But that's just the way I've looked at life.
So this is completely random. This is not even food related, but you know these shows were like, what's his name? Not Titchmarsh. What's his name? The BBC guy that does all these wildlife shows.
Oh gosh.
The famous voice.
David Attenborough.
Yeah,
oh my God, Sir David Attenborough.
Cool. So when David Attenborough's doing all these shows, you saw the one with like the snakes chasing this lizard thing climbing
No,
the rocks.
you didn't. I didn't watch that one, but you've spoken to me about it before.
Okay, cool. When did I tell you like how my theory in it? I did.
Said it. Were you the one who said it's like a horror movie?
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess to anybody like listening, like when I don't know, I think it was that particular episode. Because you know when you're young and you watch all these wildlife shows, you see like the this bug eats this one and then this lion eats that one. It's like, oh yeah, this is just what they do. This is nature. Da, 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 da. But when you sit there for a second and watch what's actually happening, I saw one. What's that thing with
praying mantis?
Praying mantis, right?
Yeah.
Praying mantis was born, right? It's walking down the leaf, right? And it sees another praying mantis, right? It's just been born, right?
And it eats it.
Yeah, it eats it straight away. And it's like...
savage, isn't it?
It's like... And
nature's very... you know what? Like, we as humans think we're really savage, but I think what David Attenborough, what's it called?
Was it Blue Planet?
Blue Planet has opened our eyes to... opened our eyes up to is nature. We think as much as humans are savage, nature's freaking savage in itself. Like, and it's like really, really savage. And there are animals that if like they could give birth like to their child, like sometimes they eat it.
Yeah.
They're just like, look.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, raw, not even like a breath. And it's so funny. There was a meme that my sister posted up on her IG, one of my sisters, and it was of a spider, and it was just like, you know, when you kill a spider, do you ever think that its mum was waiting for it to return home? And I'm laughing, but it's kind of like, I was like, for real, we're all out here killing these insects, and these insects have parents, and their parents, they've probably been like, yo mum, I'm just about to it's like, yo mum, I'm about to head out, and then they don't come back, and it's just like, because someone killed it. And I'm just like, you know what? And that's what makes nature just so savage. And when they did that, I mean, I'm laughing because it's just like, so somebody else thought about that too, because I did. Because the other day there was a spider in my house, and instead of me to kill it, I flicked it. Just flicked it. And I was just like, wherever it's gone, yeah, at least it's got a chance to get back home.
So me and spiders, yeah, I do not like spiders. So like there's these really, really tiny ones that have like really thin legs.
Yeah.
And they normally like just in like the corner, and they don't move for whatever reason. They just stay there.
Yeah.
They look like almost like mini daddy long legs. I don't mind those ones, right?
Yeah.
Because they keep themselves. Even like money spiders, like I don't mind, right?
Yeah.
My issue with spiders are the ones that like seem to move too fast, right? And literally this happened maybe about a couple months ago, right?
Yeah.
I was lying in bed, right? It must have been like 2-3 a.m., right? And I was like, about to go sleep or whatever. I turned off all my stuff or whatever. I think I was just checking something on my phone. Normally I always have something playing, whether it's music, listening to like a YouTube video. There's always something going on, right? This one random occasion, right? Nothing was playing because I was just checking my phone, I think, before I went to sleep. I heard... I was like, what is that? I looked around, didn't see anything.
Yeah.
I heard... Now, never in my life, right? Okay, cool. I'm jumping the gun. I turn to my right. I see this. I swear, no lie. This spider was about this big on my wall. And I was like, I've never heard a spider move, right? That just shows you how big it was. It was.
For you to hear it as well.
The way I flew down the stairs, right?
Yeah.
I jumped out my bed, ran down the stairs, got the Hoover, right? You know,
The fact that you had time to get a Hoover, you weren't even getting a shoe. And just
this one I couldn't miss. There's no way. You know them ones where you try and get a spider and then it goes into like a crack or something, and you have to stay in that room for the night. Like I wasn't gonna stay in that room with that spider in there, so I got the extension. I just made sure I got that spider straight, because I even got the mini, you know, the mini Hoovers.
Yeah,
I got that one in my. But I was taking no risks. Like I'm getting that one.
Now that sounds wild.
So yeah,
I mean, I'm out here flicking spiders. I'm not sure. Like the insects that really bother me are like, I have a huge phobia for snails, slugs, worms, and centipedes.
Oh, we gotta get some escargot on here for taste test.
And I think I'm over cockroaches now, because cockroaches I can just like get a shoe and go bam. It sounds so violent, but like if I see, and I have in my flat we've got a garden. And when it rains, the amount of slugs and, oh my gosh, like the other day, I literally had a tear coming out my eye because I was taking out the bin and a snail fell on my hand. And I actually took a moment and cried because it was so true. And I know this sounds so weird. Like, how can you be scared of I'm one of those people, when it's raining, I will line outside of where my door is for my garden, I'll line that with salt and shit, because I know that sounds so vicious. It sounds like raw. I just don't do freaking slugs. Or there was one time when I had the cafe and there was like a slug near the keyhole of the door, on the door there was a slug climbing up the door. I sat there for a while, and my friend came and they were just like, Nastassja, why are you not in the freaking cafe? Like you said you needed help doing. And I was like, no, there's a slug by the door. I'm just trying to wait for it to do its thing.
How long are you gonna wait for a slug climbing?
He was just like, I really can't believe you. And he was like, seriously? And I was like, fam, I'm not even trying to touch that doorway. And the other things that freak me out is frogs. Now, frogs, frogs, I don't know what it is, but frogs always jump out at me.
Okay.
So I remember when I was in college and it was winter time, and walking down a long road. I went to Richmond, so there's a long road. The college is at the end of this long road of houses. And I'm just walking, got my earphones in, and I'm just walking on my way to the station, and then I see this thing, like just a shadow of something jump out. So I'm like, okay, maybe that was just random. Then towards me, it just flies out, and it's a frog, and it's like a toad or whatever it is. The way I screamed and ran across the road, people were just like nearly just got knocked over by a car just because of a frog. And it just happened to me on random occasions. Like once again at my grandma's house, I just opened the back garden door, and then out of nowhere, frog jumped into the house, and I ran upstairs. Well, I don't know where it jumped to anyway. I just ran upstairs, and then my nan was just like, why are you screaming? I was like, there's a frog near the garden door. And she was just like, so did you close the door? And I was like, no, I left it open. She was like, so what if the frog is in the house? I was just like, Nan, you're not afraid of anything. You can go handle it. And once again, I was in a cafe one time, and a frog was just jumping around in the crypt. And I was just like, I don't know. And I'm just like, I have this phobia. Like, so anything sluggish and anything that reminds me of okra, nah.
Oh, because it's slimy.
Yeah. Anything slimy. Yeah.
You know what's funny? Yeah, when you were just speaking, it reminded me of when I first went to Ghana, and there was geckos. I think it's got geckos or lizards. I think it was gecko. One of them, right? Do you have them in the Zim?
Yeah, geckos are everywhere. They're in your house. They're one of those things where when you see them, it's so funny because I've always seen them when I've just woken up, and I'm just like, imagine this thing could have been crawling on my face when I was sleeping.
It's possible.
And then I just wake up, and I was just like, and it's just one of the things that freak me out when I'm going to sleep, because like, my cousins back home are just like, why are you scared for? And I'm just like.
So the funny thing is, when I first got there, right, and I moved in, I remember there was a gecko in the wall, right, and I called the workers to come help chase it. They were laughing at me, right? Just like why are you scared of this thing, right? Obviously they managed to chase it out, but like every time there was one there, I was just like shook, like, oh, there's this lizard in the room, I don't know what's gonna happen. But after a while, like, you just get used to it. Like, it eats the spiders, and I think it does anyway, but yeah, it's just, you get used to it.
That's the thing. It's just like there's so many. It's like naturally you see like chameleons on the roadside in Africa, and you're just like raw chameleon, and they're like, yeah.
I've never seen one of those actually. I'd like
Have
to see
you?
one. No,
I've seen, like, I used to see them in Zim all the time. Like, obviously, like my cousin would be like, "Oh, there's a chameleon." I'll be like, "Where?" And I was just like that, and you just see like his eyes. Yeah. So
the one thing, right, I do not like at all, I don't want to come near one, I don't want to know, snakes. I just don't like snakes at all. Funny enough, even though I was saying that, like, I do like the film Snakes on a Plane. That's a funny film. You seen it?
I have, but ages ago.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, we kind of went off in the tangent.
Yeah, mad tangent.
But yeah, back to the veganism. Yeah, so that's how I feel about like that menu. It's just like, as long as it's not processed vegan food, but they obviously, but I think the main thing out of that is that they didn't really notify the parents. It was just kind of like, yeah, from next year we're doing vegan food, like it or lump it.
Yeah, no, they like consultation does need to be done. I'd like to know in advance about what they're doing and stuff. Yeah. And
because some parents wouldn't want their children just to drink like oat milk or almond milk. Because the other thing is like drinking alternative milk. And I know when I first started drinking like alternative milk, it took a while to get used to, you know. Like, it takes a while to get used to, like, your whole, you know, and to kind of just introduce that to a whole load of kids, and especially if the children aren't adverse to it. I mean, yeah, that's the nursery's plight, isn't it? But
so one thing, just to like give both sides again, I will take my hat off to them for trying, you know, because we see a lot of schools that, hey, here's burgers, here's chips, you know, eat it, you know. So, you know, they're obviously making an effort to be a bit more conscious about what the children are eating, albeit, you know, whether it's a bit heavy-handed, you know.
But like I said, conscious in the fact that they're actually giving them fresh vegetables, not processed vegetables, and that's my thing.
Sure, I'm just saying, initially, at least they've taken a step.
I mean, the initial kind of thing is like, okay, cool, like, it's nice, you know, they're aware. They're aware. They have awareness about like the food, but like I said, as long as it's not the processed stuff, and they're actually making effort to be cooking healthier meals, and, you know, giving the kids their five a day in a healthier manner, not in a processed manner. That is a key thing for me.
For sure.
But knowing what nursery food is like,
you had something about popcorn.
So one this week as well, I feel like I've been socializing so much, like I'm out of my socializing tickets this week. Well, last week. I went to the cinema with a friend.
What did you see?
I was about to say, I can't remember. No, we went to watch 21 Bridges.
Okay.
It's a good film. It's a good film.
What's it about?
I wanted to say a typical storyline. No, Chadwick Boseman is really, really good in it. I love Chadwick Boseman. I loved him from when he played, what's his name, James Brown in his biopic. Like, so, you know, such a good actor. 21 Bridges. I'm trying not to do a spoiler alert. He's a cop, and he's basically trying to catch these criminals, and it's set in New York. And I think, can I give you more? Like, set in New York, trying to catch these criminals before daybreak, basically.
Okay.
And yeah,
we'll keep it short and sweet.
Yeah, I think the 21 Bridges kind of gives it away anyway.
It doesn't to me, but we'll keep it short and sweet.
Yeah.
Anybody can
there's 21 Bridges in New York anyway. That's it. Well, sorry if that was a spoiler. But and one of the things I actually enjoyed about going to cinema as a child is the whole experience of getting the popcorn, like freshly popped popcorn. this is probably showing my age a little bit or telling my age. I've lived in South London for all of my life. So my local cinema was the Elephant and Castle one. Is it the Coronet? It's now, well, I don't know what it is now. It was a club venue for a while. But back in the day, when I was young, it was the cinema. It was our local cinema. And the one thing I loved about, that was like the cheapo cinema, the local cheapo. And then we'd go West End when we really want to splash out on the big screen and Odeon Leicester Square in it. So one of my favorite things about going to the cinema was getting freshly popped popcorn. And I think it was like that nostalgic kind of thing where you go into the cinema and you see the machine popping the popcorn and you kind of got to wait to get the freshly popped popcorn and stuff. And so these days when you go to the cinema, I don't know, it just kind of is like this, the popcorn is delivered now. Nobody pops and please, like, if anybody knows which cinema actually still pops popcorn in the cinema, please let me know. But what they do is, like, they've just got a delivery service now. They just get it from their suppliers. They just pour it into the cinema, into their popcorn tanks and just serve it, and it just doesn't taste as good. And I would say I pop popcorn at home, and I want to say that my popcorn is like, I love popping popcorn. I think mine is like one of the dopest popcorn. Yes, I buy like the packet popcorn, but nothing freaking beats like freshly popped popcorn. And I think that the kids of this generation are missing out on the freshly made stuff, and it kind of makes me feel like, yes, I understand that, like, when you go to the cinema, there's a whole rush of, like, getting the popcorn. But getting popcorn, and if you're having to wait for it to be popped and blah, blah, blah. But let me tell you something. There's still a big, massive queue for popcorn, and it's not even being popped anyway. Like, you know what I mean? And it's kind of just like, why is it turned into that we just get processed popcorn? And my friend JB was just like, Stash, like, I don't like cinema popcorn. I want the butter kissed one. Like, on your way to my yard, just get some butter kiss packets of popcorn. And for real, like, I don't like cinema popcorn. I actually prefer just to go out and buy my popcorn. There's certain brands of popcorn that I do like, but if I'm really, 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 really feeling myself, this sounds as ghetto as fuck, but I don't even care. I put my own popcorn and shit and bring it in a big bag, and that's it. And I've done that on plenty of occasions, and people have laughed at me and cussed me out. But when they start eating my popcorn, they're like, Stash. And I'm like, take your filthy hands away from my popcorn and eat your processed shit. I am that ghetto that it just depends if I've got the time or not, but I would prefer to bring in my own freshly popped popcorn. And that's the sad thing about it. It's just like, these days when I go to the cinema, if I'm not gonna lie, I get the nachos and the processed cheese.
I have never snuck food in, like, from home into the cinema before. Like,
I'm just zero ghetto like that shit.
The only thing I tried, like, when I remember me and my friend were in high school, and then we went to the cinema, and there's a McDonald's across from the cinema.
Yeah.
So we bought some McDonald's, put it in our we put it in our pockets because we knew we weren't allowed to walk through, right? And gave the guy our tickets, and then as soon as we walked through, I don't know why, we're just young and stupid, we started laughing and started running. Right, so then they started chasing us and be like, "Oh, why are you running? What have you got?" And then we had McDonald's. Then they kicked us out, and then we stuck it in again. But yeah, it was just
you
young.
didn't run this time.
Yeah, but it's just being young and stupid. And
do you want to know a crazy thing? You're talking about McDonald's in the cinema. Don't think my friend just made us go to McDonald's and he bought like a 20 nugget meal, and he literally sat in the cinema eating like fries and nuggets and popcorn.
That doesn't sound too bad.
But this is what we were saying. Well, what I said after the film. You know what would be the dopest thing? I swear down, McDonald's, if you do this idea, I just want you to recognize that I just threw it out there on this podcast. Imagine a drive-through McDonald's cinema. Do you know how much fucking money that they would make from that? And I'm not even gonna imagine during summer they did not even a month or just like 2 weekends of like a drive-through McDonald's cinema. Do you know how much fucking I would go? Because I know what I'm getting from McDonald's. I'm not expecting the world, but just eating those nuggets and fries and having like, if they did a special nachos with like their processed cheese, like in London, do you know how much car rentals would make? I would literally hire a drop top car just so I could go through the drive-through McDonald's and go to the cinema. But I think that would be such an open air, even if it wasn't like a drive-through, but an open air cinema hosted by McDonald's during the summertime. That
100% it'll work. So on that note, like
it wouldn't work for Burger King though, or KFC. It would work for McDonald's. There's something I don't see it working. Like, imagine I'm going to go to Burger King to watch it. Like, I'm going to drive through Burger King. It doesn't work. But McDonald's works. It's a cult thing.
I was pausing because I agree, but I'm trying to work out why I agree, and I'm not too sure.
Exactly. That's why I don't know. But in my head, I know it would never work it wouldn't even work for Morley's chicken.
No.
It would work only for McDonald's because there's something cult. It's a cult. It's like if McDonald's did cult classic films, open air cinema with a McDonald's bar.
I think
during the summer.
I think Domino's could do it.
Who?
Domino's. I think they could get away with it.
I don't know. Pizza and movies and pizza. I just see it. You know what it is I think because McDonald's isn't messy. When I say it isn't messy, because it doesn't look like the picture, whereas Burger King does look like the picture. Burger King comes with all of the fresh tomatoes, the onions and stuff, and so it's quite wild. That Whopper is it's a Whopper to eat, isn't it? It's all in the name. But when you get your McDonald's, it's like, it's coming like half of the look of what it is on the picture. Therefore, it's not difficult to eat. It's like if you imagine with your 20-piece box meal of nuggets, because that's the new thing these days. Apparently it's for sharing. Nobody ain't sharing those nuggets. Like my friend, I didn't even get a nugget when he was eating them. Like imagine, I was like, can I get? He was just like, what? He was like, do you want popcorn? Did
he offer you beforehand? Did he say he's going to McDonald's?
No. We went McDonald's and he was like, do you want anything? But
then it's your fault.
No, shut up. I don't want like 6 nuggets. I just wanted 1.
So you could have got like...
No, exactly. There's nothing that I could have got. Like,
Did you tell him you wanted 1 when you were in
McDonald's? No, but what in McDonald's?
Yeah.
I got large fries. I said I wanted large fries, but I just wanted one of his nuggets. That's it.
But did you tell him that?
In the cinema. I went to go...
At McDonald's?
No.
So you just assumed...
Whatever. Like, look, he was supposed to have 19 and like I was supposed to have 1. It's a female thing, innit? We don't want all of
this
it.
Is
We're
what
just,
I mean.
Shut. Look, every woman just wants 1. She doesn't want the whole packet. We just want to taste. That's it.
But if you had the option, you should... That was the time you had the option to
whatever.
buy.
So what he was gonna get a box of like 21 nuggets just for 1. Come on, man.
Don't
like whatever.
6 or whatever.
No, but I didn't want 6. That's what I'm saying to you. I didn't want 6. I just wanted 1. Like, but anyway, I didn't get the nugget, so it's fine. But I'm just saying because of the way it's just packaged and the cult nostalgic feeling of McDonald's, because I remember like we've all grown up with McDonald's. Do you know what I mean? I would say about 80% of children have grown up with the McDonald's. How many kids have grown up with Burger King? No kids are going... You're not going to get a kid's meal in Burger King. Burger King is kind of like for the premium burger eater. Like, it's like the high street premium of burgers.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? And then KFC is kind of just like... Nobody's going with those chicken bones. Do you get what I mean? It's not like I see a lot of chicken bones after the film and it just doesn't work. But with McDonald's, because it's very Moorish, I can tell you there will be people waxing off like probably 2 boxes of nugget, like 20 nuggets in one film. Do you get what I mean? And I just think it's that kind of thing where I would go, even though I think we've spoken about McDonald's on this podcast so many times. It's like we're sponsored by McDonald's, but we're not even. Yeah. But I'm just saying that it would be such a great idea to see in the coming years.
No, I think, look, so like on the McDonald's thing, 100%, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I can't lie, I still think though that like Domino's could pull it off, because I think they have that whole like eating Domino's with like maybe like watching Netflix and maybe just doing that on a bigger scale. I can just see that, like if you've got a car full of people, got one pizza, everybody takes a couple slices. I can see that, you know. But to bring it full circle to what you were speaking about on the popcorn thing, I think that like the fact that what we're speaking about like McDonald's or whatever it's Domino's or what have you, it's a sign to say that like food in general in the cinema is not good enough. We know that when we go to a cinema experience, like the hot dog is not the best hot dog.
Yeah,
the
I mean,
nachos is not the best nachos. The cheese is not, I don't even know if it's real cheese.
That's his processed cheese, babes.
There you go.
I don't even know if it's really cheese anyway.
This is
I
what I
don't
mean.
know what it is. It's just like sauce, flavored like cheese.
And for the prices that we're paying, so like I remember when a cinema date, right? That was like in high school. That was a cheap date that you're taking somewhere.
I know. Cinema's not a cheap date these days.
No, you can easily on a cinema date.
It's what, like,
£60?
I remember, like, last time we went cinema, it was probably like £25 for 2 tickets. And that was like just because it was like during the week. So it's like, it was just like maybe about £26 because £13 each. And then obviously you want to buy like, you know, even though I don't like the cinema popcorn, I didn't get to go to the shop. I'll buy that cinema popcorn. Then you buy the drink. That comes up to what, another like £12. So roughly, when you're going to cinema, it's an average spend of like £50.
Do you know what I mean?
And
like,
if you really, I mean, if you're really, really, really trying to be cheapskate, you're trying to take that person not on premium days like Friday, Saturday, Friday and Saturday, or you're trying to go to your local cinema, which is like about £7-8, not go to kind of like the nice cinemas. But in saying about the cinema food thing, I know that like Odeon and Bayswater, they have the Odeon, I think it's called Odeon Luxe or Odeon
Okay, yeah.
So what that is you actually, you know, you get really big comfy seats, you get like service to your seat. So they've got a nice full menu. Which other cinema did I go to? And I know cinemas these days are starting to sell alcohol as well. So like I know the Odeon in Greenwich, they have like alcohol, and they've started doing like premium. They've actually got like in the Odeon in Greenwich, they've actually got food bars now. So you can get like proper hot dogs from a proper food company and stuff like that. So they are starting to pick up on that. But I just want to say, like, the nostalgic kind of cinema food of just popcorn, like, yo, I would love to see it go back to the days of it being popped fresh. But it's kind of like we're going into this culture of just like fast, you know, everybody just wants food really, really quickly. Therefore, what's the quickest way we can do it? Just have everything pre-packed and pre-made and processed.
I think, okay, cool. So I think on the cinemas, for the ones that are doing that thing with the popcorn, I think that like, as much as the amount of money that they're selling these tickets for, like they're up against it, right? Like I think, look, I don't have statistics to back this up, but versus I guess the old days, right? A lot less of us are going to the cinema now. We're either watching it on Netflix, we're downloading it. We're just not. We're only, well, me. I only go to the cinema if it's like a sick film. And if it's a sick film, then I'll go to like the is it the BFI, the huge one in Waterloo?
The, what do you call it? The IMAX.
IMAX, yeah. So I go to the IMAX one, see it like big screen. I pay like, I was about to say top dollar, but we're in UK. I pay extra money to go to a proper cinema, go see it big. But with less people going to the cinema, they got to look at their margins, right? And look at, okay, how can we be maximizing money? And if that means getting this is either, you know, cheaper, more cost effective for them, it's a business decision.
I know. It's all about maximizing profits, which is a shame because you're getting less of the product from paying more for the profit, and this is why we end up sneaking food into cinema. standard. But
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
that's just me. Like, it just depends. But if I'm being honest, like you, I do go to cinema for the big films because I want to see it in, I want to get the sound, like, obviously when the Avengers, all of that came, whenever a Marvel movie comes out, I am there because I want to see it in 3D, 4D, whatever. Not so much 3D, actually. I've done a couple of 3D movies and it's just like I've been frazzled afterwards. My eyesight has been like for real frazzled.
Okay.
But definitely want to see, I want to hear the sound system and all of that, just because the experience in a cinema is so much better. I get it. There's so many ways that we consume these days. And, especially with Netflix and the way Netflix are like releasing big movies on their own platform. And you've got iTunes now following, is it iTunes or Apple TV now doing it?
And
it's
Disney.
like Disney is launching, and all of, if you've noticed on Netflix, most of the Marvel stuff and most of like any kind of Disney stuff is like there's not that much, because it's all coming, it's going to be Disney have got their own streaming platform now, and you can just imagine the type of shit that Disney is going to be doing. And Disney owns so much of like the Marvel stuff as well. So, you're going to see a lot, that streaming platform is going to be wild. And it's really crazy the way we now watch TV, because actually this week I've been watching a lot of YouTube, and I've never been a huge YouTuber but I've started to watch a lot of YouTube, and it's that thing that TV is now on the go. You don't need to go home. Like one of the things I did love about growing up is the anticipation. I was happy to wait for stuff because there was so much of an anticipation, the build up of waiting for like this massive film to come on the big screen. I think one of my greatest childhood memories, I know The Lion King has just been redone. I didn't go and watch it, unfortunately, in the cinema, but I think it's on one of these, it's on pay-per-view, so I'm sure that's going to be our Christmas movie, watching it again. And I remember going to watch The Lion King for the very first time. And my brother was like, I think my brother was like about 3 or 4, I can't remember. But like, we were like just still in primary school. And I remember going to watch it at the Odeon with my grandmother on the big screen. And there was just it was like I was going to Africa, but I wasn't really in Africa. It was just like, I still have that the buzz of just going to watch The Lion King and it being like so phenomenal and sinking into those big cinema seats. Like back then you were like so small and sinking into those cinema seats. And that anticipation is not what we have today. We have it in some things, but not in that many things, because as well, like, after, it would take usually, like back in the day, it used to take like, a year and a half sometimes from a film to come from cinema just to normal TV.
Oh, yeah.
And kind of like waiting for it. Like, so the next time you'd see the film, you'd be at home, but it's taken so long, but you still have another anticipation to watch it again, or if you've bought it on DVD, video, whatever. But there's not that kind of, because there's so many streaming platforms these days. Like, I'm sure even Spotify are going to start doing films. I'm sure it's something in the works,
It could be. Well, if you love, like, I guess anticipation like that, you're gonna love Disney Plus, because they're like a lot of their content, they're deciding to serialize it, I guess, periodically.
Yeah.
But I forgot where I was listening to this, some other podcast, they were talking about how that might affect Netflix because of they're doing it, and apparently Apple's doing it. If the other two players, I guess, in the market are doing it, Netflix might revert from just giving you all the content to binge watch to giving it to you like series every week. Yeah. Because what a lot of people are doing is like jumping in for like the 3 month, or was it 3 month or whatever the trial period is, watching whatever they have to and then just cancelling. But by having it every week and so on, it means that you have to stay locked in.
I mean, the one thing about Netflix is like not everybody gets a subscription. Whoever's got like Netflix passes on their little code and they want to clamp down on that because
Yeah.
obviously, like the amount of time before I even had my own Netflix account, I mean, I was borrowing. I was out here borrowing accounts, and I found out recently that my brother's been even using my Netflix account, but I'm just like, at least someone's watching it, innit? Like,
Sure.
but it's one of those things that, you know, like I have my Netflix. Yeah, Netflix is great for the kind of binge watch. I mean, when I'm working, I definitely binge watch. I get through a lot. Like, what did I get through recently? Marcella. That's on there. I couldn't be asked to wait for Peaky Blinders to come onto Netflix, so I went and watched that on BBC Three. Good old motherfucking Peaky Blinders. What else did I watch? I don't know what's going on with Power. Like each Monday I'm just like, okay, it's not back yet. Whatever, and forget that Power's on. Power's one of those ones that come on weekly as well. So, you know, I binged watch Riverdale, but that one comes on weekly now. There's so many things I binged watched on Netflix when they give you the full kind of package, the full episodes on the Greenleaf. Love that. I did that in a day. It's mad how much shit that you could do, but it's like it's just like the longest story, so it's okay to binge watch it. But I get why they would, you know, pull it back a little bit and start giving you one episode per week, and giving people that anticipation again instead of like giving it to you all raw and all together like that.
I cancelled my Netflix because of mainly I watch anime anyway, so like yeah there's only limited anime on Netflix, and I guess I only really watch like Star Trek on there. You're not a Trekkie, are you?
I am a Trekkie, but I haven't really got into the kind of new ones. I like the old school stuff. I like Deep Space Nine, like old school stuff. Oh, okay. And I like when Captain Picard was on there. Like I like that. Like I like the old Star Trek kind of stuff.
So I like. Okay, I didn't like Deep Space Nine, but I liked Enterprise. But I really liked Voyager.
See, I did like Voyager. I didn't click onto it as much. Okay. My aunt was like, she was top Voyager. Yeah. I like Star Trek Enterprise. I like Deep Space Nine. The funny thing is, as soon as you said Trekkie, I've got the Deep Space Nine. I've got the Deep Space Nine theme track running through my head now. So, yeah.
Okay, and have you seen the new one?
No, that's what I'm saying. I haven't really got into the new ones. Like,
oh, okay, cool.
It's one of those things. I'm maybe this week I'll try and get into it.
I really enjoy it. Like
really?
The new one, the new one will I think come out Christmas or January, or it's like in the next few months or stuff. So yeah, I have to jump back in, and that is let me know what you think. But we've gone off on our
they've gone on a mad tangent.
We've done lizards and spiders and Star Trek,
and frogs, like Star Trek, Disney.
Yeah, but I guess to bring it back to the popcorn.
Yeah.
I think it's a business decision because of like I guess rent, overheads, those kind of things. I think it would be nice if they had, for me personally, nicer popcorn because look, I prefer the butter kiss. You know, I'd buy a butter kiss.
But that's what I'm saying. Like everybody prefers butter kiss. When we started to listen to it, when we start to talk about it, and even my friend, he was just like, yeah, like the butter kiss. Even me, I mean, to be honest, butter kiss is a bit too sweet for me. But I know, and I'm a cake baker.
I can only eat limited amounts of it because it gets a bit too much.
It's so me.
Yeah.
See, this is why I like to put my own popcorn and bring it into the cinema.
Do you have a special recipe you put on top?
There's a specific science behind the popping.
Okay, so it's a
and
secret.
The sugar. Not really. It's just depend. People pop their popcorn in different ways. Like I put my sugar in. I remember doing it in front of another friend of mine, and they were like, "That's a dangerous way of popping popcorn." And I was like, "But is it your cooker though?" No. So the way I do it is like I let the oil get hot, then put in my kernels, and then put my sugar on top. And I'll put as much sugar as I want, but if you put too much, it'll burn, and then you won't get good popcorn. So it's all about timing and the amount of sugar that you put in. and then you just shake it. Shake it over your cooker. I'm doing this like I'm actually popping. But, you shake it, like you keep it on the heat up until you hear the first couple of pops. And what you do is you keep on shaking it so the sugar doesn't burn. And then you keep shaking it whilst it's on the cooker. And then what you do is you just lift it over the heat and then let it pop. But what I do is I shake it as much as I can whilst it's still on the heat. And then I take it off the heat and then just let it naturally pop. And that way you don't burn the sugar and you don't burn the popcorn, and you get nice golden sweet popcorn. So when you're doing it the manual way, you would never keep the pot just on the cooker whilst it's popping, because you're going to burn it because of the sugar. So yeah, it's the Zimbabwean African way.
There you go, people. Tip of the day. There you go.
I'll bring some. So you can test it.
Sure, give the people a verdict. You know what's interesting? Just so you're speaking, I just realised the interesting correlation between the cinema and Reggae Brunch, because it's the same thing. Because what we're talking about is this like
the experience.
We go because the food, it's not there, but like we're still going for that experience, and we still go again.
Yeah, like Reggae, but like I said, Reggae Brunch, I still go 1,000, not even 1,000, 1,000,000% for that vibe, because the vibe is on lock. But Lord, please put some rum in the rum juice in the rum in that rum punch, just a little bit more.
So moving swiftly on then to the mains. I think you wanted to like touch on, I guess, a bit about whether, correct me if I'm wrong, becoming a bit more impatient for the kind of food.
Yeah. One thing I've noticed, and especially I think from my experience of like the Reggae Brunch and what we spoke about like previously about the cinema and the popcorn, and then just like looking at eating habits. And I think we touched on this last week, where I've noticed that especially myself, I've noticed that we've become impatient with our food, and we just want ready, set and go kind of food. And this is why like something like McDonald's, even though it's not the greatest burger and fries, is so much, it's such a trusted, even though it's such a trusted brand on the high street, because you are going to get fast food. But the reality is, with some, like for me personally, I actually don't mind waiting for food.
Okay.
Like I said, with the Reggae Brunch experience kind of thing, the only reason why I knew I was waiting for my food is because there weren't no nibbles on the table in it, and possibly because we were sitting upstairs, so we're like, and downstairs, that's where all the music and that's where the DJ was, and he was really communicating with the crowd. So therefore, I felt like, I'm a distance and I'm waiting for something, and it's food, But the reality is, when the food did come, it was I enjoyed it. It was good, But it's that kind of like when I worked in an office before, and I've worked in an office, and then I've worked in food service as well. The amount of time that human beings are just so impatient, they just want their food right there and right now, right there and then. And it's kind of just like, it's a mad one, because you get people who are so like, they want their food at that precise minute that they've ordered it. And when they get it, they complain that it's not good. And it's just like, well, if you had waited for it just a couple of seconds more, you would have got what you wanted. You would have got a better kind of standard of food. And it's one of those things where I only find it when I've gone abroad for food, I don't actually, even like somewhere like New York where I've been, like, and even like, where did I go? We went to Wendy's, right? And I actually love Wendy's over there, even though American people may feel like Wendy's is just like kind of standard. But first time I went to Wendy's in the States, we have a Wendy's over here, and nobody's trying Wendy's over here. Like, we just look at it and move forward,
Is it like, I know they left many years ago. I know there
was one or two branches left open, and it was just, I don't know about now, but I think there's one or two scattered around the place. But back in the day when we did have Wendy's, nobody was trying to go to Wendy's.
You know what? Someone put me. This is when like it must have been high school, so like 15, like many years ago. Someone put me onto it, right? And I actually liked it, but it was soon after that they started disappearing. So
okay. Well, the Wendy's that I went to, maybe it was just maybe it was a franchise Wendy's. I don't know. But went to Wendy's, friend took me there, and no word of a lie, I swear I was in Wendy's for about 15 minutes waiting for a burger. Yeah. And I was getting agitated. I was just like, what the fuck? Like, is this not like McDonald's just literally fly out your burger? Like, because here we're just used to getting the state of shit and really just going with it. Like, and I don't mean that in any bad way. We're just used to just getting what we're given. And like you said, like in a podcast we spoke about, like we're so used to like bad level of food that it doesn't actually bother us. It's just kind of just like, we just like move with it. We just move with it, you know? And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, and I was the only person getting agitated in there. And obviously people could tell like she ain't from around here. She's the only person getting agitated for waiting for her burger. When the burger did come, let me tell you something. This burger freaking motherfucking banged. Like, I got addicted to Wendy's on that trip. I now put on some pounds because I swear it was like every other night. Let's go Wendy's, and she's like, let's try something else, you know. And it was just like the first time I'd been to what they consider fast food place, and actually I knew then what the standard of burger I was actually supposed to be eating. Come back to the UK and the standard of burger is just like your Big Mac is ready in -00 because it's been sitting there since 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the thing. And when I remember from that experience of going abroad and going to even like the McDonald's over in the States, you have to wait. You know what I mean? It's only now recently that the McDonald's, the layout of McDonald's in our McDonald's has changed. But that layout has been in the US for quite some time, like if not the beginning of time, but a beginning of whenever they've had the McDonald's. But the fact that, you know, you actually get fresh food. You actually get fresh fries. It may be fast food and it may be cooked in like high cholesterol oil, but it's just come out of that high cholesterol oil. It's not been sitting there since 9 o'clock looking like just waiting for someone to purchase. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You know what I mean? You know those dead McDonald's fries? You go in there and it's a bit quiet and they've just got the fries on the rack, and then you're like, oh, medium fries, and they just get it from the rack, and you're like, fam, this is like lukewarm going to cold. Like, get me some fresh fries. And they're like, oh, they want to kind of make, and you're just like, really? Like, but what I'm trying to say is that the culture here of us not wanting to wait for food, I think that's where it kind of ruins that we end up just having kind of like lackluster food. And I've heard like a lot of people from the States come over to us and go like, your food, it doesn't really bang. It's just like, the most that you're going to get is like a good old Nando's with seasoning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I've noticed, like when US people come over here, they're like, it's very bland, or, you know, the food is cold, or, you know, there's not much to it. And it's just like, yeah, because everybody here wants food instantly. It's like food isn't created instantly. I would prefer to wait for my food and get a really great meal. Like, I don't mind if it's like half an hour, but when that meal comes out, I hope it bangs for the amount of time that I've waited for it. It's like oxtail today doesn't taste as nice as it does tomorrow, the next day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why, like, when I go to the cinema, that's why I thought, like, the cinema popcorn for me is just kind of like, I like it freshly popped in it, and nobody hardly does that. Like, there may be a couple of cinemas that still do freshly popped popcorn, but nobody really does. You know what I mean? And that kind of like, oh, your popcorn's already here. It's like, how much processed food are we gonna like consume, to the fact that it's kind of like, it's quicker, it's easier, but really the health benefits are zero.
Yeah, I think a lot of establishments aren't putting, I guess, health benefits first, just on that. In terms of like time, I think we're in the time now where like everything has to be now. I can't like I'm one of those people that like I want things now. Like when I order something online and it says, oh, it's gonna be here in like 2-3 days, unless it's something I don't really need, like it becomes jarring for me. I like to know that I can get it like now. Even with like ordering food off like Deliveroo, Uber Eats, like if it's gonna take 45 minutes, I'm like a bit like I'd prefer it quicker. I think it's because of we're in a time where like they say paying attention, like time is money, like you got like things to do, like everything's like go go go. Like it'll be nice, you know, when you go on holiday, like you're relaxed, right? You're not going anywhere anytime soon. You don't have to worry about work. You're not rushing off nowhere. You got time to sit in that restaurant for 45 minutes, have a drink, relax, kick back. But when you're like you got an hour lunch break, or you know,
I get that. Like, especially like when you're limited, like during lunch breaks. Yeah, when you're limited, and like these days, these days you just want to go in a shop and out. You don't want to be queuing. It's like wasabi. I don't know. Do you like wasabi?
I actually like wasabi. They do the nice katsu.
Yeah.
I
So
like
when wasabi first opened,
yeah,
like what years ago now? I don't know how many years ago. Wasabi used to be. It was like service based, so they would actually serve you. You would have to order what you want, and then they would cook it. They would be cooking it fresh. Not that they don't cook it fresh anymore, but they would have to serve it in a container for you, and then go. Now what wasabi is doing is they still cook it fresh in the morning. Well, they cook it at particular times in the morning, and then they package it and they just put it on the heater, the warming shelf. And I don't like that. And what it is that, and once I saw wasabi doing it, it really clicked to me about like how much it's like, how difficult is it for you to have like 4 people like literally taking, like 2 people take, like where it's 3 people taking the orders and 3 people there serving it out of the container. And what I realized what it was one, it was time consuming. They wanted faster service so people could just come in, grab their food and go. And the second thing was like, it was a money issue, a money thing to capitalize on smaller portions but charging more. So before, when you go into wasabi, whoever's serving would just dollop the food, whether it's two spoonfuls of rice and 2 spoonfuls. Now you go in there, everything has like little plastic portion thing, so it has to come up to a certain level, and it's portion control, and it's to maximize the profits. I mean, I'm not saying that this is a bad thing, but it kind of, once again, I kind of feel like it becomes kind of just like a rush service, and like the quality, I personally don't like it. I mean, I still buy it because it's just kind of easy to go in there, but I do miss the aspect of them kind of like serving it warm from the actual cooked container, knowing that, oh, okay, this one has been cooked like within the past like half an hour, whatever, whereas it just being cooked in the morning and just kept on that heating thing to a certain time and then changing it over, and just like,
so
I don't feel the freshness. I feel like, once again, it's like a fast food aspect. And then especially if I'm taking it home, I mean, now they've introduced the kit that you can take the food home and cook yourself, which is really cool. And I tried those and they're really cool. But if I want one kind of fresh, it's like, it's not really fresh, is it? It's fresh, but it's not really fresh, is it?
So, okay, cool. So I guess my thoughts on that is that, like, if you want like that wholesome, maybe home cooking style thing, you're going to have to go to like a sit down dining restaurant.
Well, no, that's what it is these days. If you want that kind of thing, you go to a restaurant, because you know that but all of these kind of like fast food outlets, it's kind of just like,
it's a process. Because one of like my favorite books, I remember very loosely, but so it's Behind the Arches, telling the story of like McDonald's and stuff, and it speaks about like, so if I remember correctly, there's these 2 brothers who made all these burgers and stuff, and they are the original guys behind McDonald's. They had all these queues and stuff, right? But it didn't pop in terms of like business, even though they had all these queues of making these tasty burgers and stuff, until like this dude Ray Kroc came in and just helped them with like their processes and stuff. Things like, you know, the thing to fill the fries, that like to get portion control and all that thing.
Yeah.
And all those processes is what made the business pop. So it's like, how can you get stuff done efficiently, fast, to get similar?
And I completely get that. And I'm not saying that, it's what the kind of the new style of like kind of just pre-packing hot food is. That's what it is. It's like pre-packing hot, ready make good food, but pre-packed kind of thing. I'm not liking it. I'm not liking it, but it's what's being offered, so I have no choice but to buy into it. But it's kind of just one of those things that when I've traveled globally, it's never like that. Regardless regardless of the queues, everybody's pretty much happy to wait. So, and that's one thing that I've noticed, that people, when I've traveled and I've been in those situations where it's been like rush hour or peak time, people are pretty much still happy to wait. But over here, I feel like when I've worked in a food service, there's always grumbles. Like, why is it taking so long? Well, do you want salmonella? Is my next question. That's why it's taking so long, because it's actually being cooked. And it's like, do we actually appreciate cooked food? Or it's like, just give me, I'll pay for, like you've been to watch football stadium food, yeah? Like when it's halftime, and you're trying to get food, it's like a nightmare, isn't it?
Yeah,
you have to go. You actually have to go 10 minutes before half time, because if you go like half time, like literally, you're gonna be waiting. The queues are crazy. But I've worked in a football stadium. Let me tell you, I've had that experience of working in a football stadium. Let's not talk about the racist chants that I've experienced, but just that, when you're just like you're doing just like a basic, you're cooking the hot dogs, and like there's hundreds of people just rolling through. And let me tell you, football stadium, like stadium food, is not the greatest food, but
it's terrible.
And like, let me tell you, one hot dog is ridiculous, like £11 or something stupid like that. This is like your casual hot dog. There's nothing different about it. Like your casual hot dog is like £11. But let me tell you, like, you're just trying to cook it and ensure that it's cooked to get to a certain temperature, and make sure, because there's guidelines. When you're cooking the food, there's always guidelines of the temperature it's supposed to be served at. And you're doing your job, but you hear someone be like, just give it to me like that, and you're just like, fam, ain't nobody giving you something raw and underneath the temperature I'm supposed to be starting. And people get so kind of violent, but it's like, when they get sick, it's just like, well, I ate it, or you didn't cook it properly. It's just like, well, this is the thing. Waiting is not a bad thing. It's actually the more, waiting for something to be cooked and waiting for good food is not a bad thing. It just heightens your experience and the appreciation you have. And this is why I feel like sometimes we abuse food, that we don't want. I know that sounds like a harsh word. Like, it's the abuse of food for not wanting to wait for it to be cooked properly. Then it's just kind of like, just maybe it's, and then after you get the food and it makes you sick, it's just like, well, if you just wait for a little bit, or wait for the right time, like wait for it to be cooked in the right way, then we wouldn't have these mad issues. Like, you wouldn't have got sick. But that's just like that's just like me going off on a tangent and my mad theories. But it's just like, for me, like, I have no issues with waiting for food.
You just reminded me of two things. One, that I worked in Tottenham Stadium in the food thing. I forgot about that. I'm not proud because I'm an Arsenal fan. So.
I mean, I worked in the Arsenal and the Wembley Stadium. those were experiences.
So, what are you a football fan? Do you support anyone?
I'm an Arsenal fan.
Oh, okay, so it's cool. You didn't work for the enemy. I worked for the enemy. So.
No, yeah, I mean, nobody. I wasn't trying to work for Tottenham.
So yeah, times were hard. But
this was back in my college and uni days, and it was good money at that time, because it wasn't like a job that I had to be in they would ask me, they would just text me and say, this match is on, can you work? It's mad. It's a mad experience. I like football. I would say the atmosphere and the build up to the game. I can see why. I don't condone hooliganism, but I can understand why the person that you don't think would do certain actions during a football match will turn to do certain actions.
That mob culture.
The adrenaline.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
There is a mad adrenaline rush that goes through people, and when you're in that atmosphere, it's like a fever. It just kind of, you can just get caught up. And like some people you hear like that person's a hooligan and you're just like, how? But because I've worked in a stadium, I don't condone it, but it's kind of like a fever that catches people very much. And it's just kind of like during football, they're different people.
Yeah, it is what it is. But to bring it back full circle to the mains, like when you were speaking, one thing it was reminding me about, I remember many years ago, you know that whole thing about like around certain schools you're not allowed to have takeaways within the certain distance and stuff, and I was that uproar because there was this like Caribbean shop, they were like saying, hey, you're fast food, you need to move, and they closed down the business. I can't remember the full story, but it was just making me think like, you know, that's like the blessing and the curse of a lot of Caribbean restaurants, because of the food is not quick, you know. For a lot of them it takes some time to like, you know, marinade, season and you know, cook it to in a particular way, but on the flip side, obviously that means they're not fast enough to be like fast food. But at least you know that it's cooked. That's
what I said. Like when it comes to Caribbean shops and like the long waits, if I'm being honest, I don't mind. It's just like sometimes they just look very grumpy. That's it. It's just kind of like, I'm just trying to get some food. That's it. And it's just like with like, especially like being African, like I know the food service isn't fast, as in the food doesn't come out. Like I've been to like an African restaurant and I probably waited, I forgot that I was waiting this long. It's only my friend was just like, "Wait, we've been sitting here for ages, where's the food at?" Then I was like, oh yeah. That's only because there was like I said, the thing that distracts you from you not realizing that you've been waiting for your food is the fact that there's appetizers, like there's small, like there was chin chin on the table, there was nuts, there was some small puff. So I did not realize that we had been sitting in this place for 40 minutes and not even our starter had come out. It's only when I was like, "Uncle," and he was like, "Oh no, it's coming." And then I was just like, okay. And he was like, "You know, Uncle," and we're just like, okay, cool. I knew he was cooking it from fresh, and I appreciate that, you know. And that's what it is. It's just that kind of like, you know, I know from our cultures and our background, like the food don't come out fast, but I understand because it's been well seasoned. It's good. Like if I'm being honest, if I went to a Caribbean or an African restaurant and the food came out like within like 5 minutes, I'll be like, "Fam, did you cook this? Did you cook this yesterday and heat it up in the microwave?" So, that's what I would say to them, because I would be worried. I'd be like, no, jollof, no, rice and pizza. This don't take this quick to come out.
But there's a trade-off though, because between like, as I'm just thinking as I'm speaking, between speed and the size of these businesses. Yeah. Because of like, if you want to build, and I'm just thinking out loud, if you want to build a big chain or big, like, all of them have speed. You know, I can't think of anyone that takes their time and they're a huge chain.
But this is the thing, like I've been to chain restaurants abroad and there is timely speed. Okay. As in, this is a time that you've ordered. I know what they do, especially in fast food. They have a certain amount of time that each dish should be, that it should go out. From the time that you've ordered it and from the time it should go out, there's a time scale. So they'll say, like, if you're ordering, this is made up like a double patty with like all the trimmings. It should go out within the next 15 minutes or less than. It should be less than 10 minutes. kind of thing. I know that there's those kind of things, but like I said, for me, it's like even when I go to somewhere, I talk about Five Guys all the time because I haven't been to Shake Shack yet. Like I still need to go.
Oh yeah, we need to do that.
Like going there, I think it's like I've waited for my. I've never complained about. I never even noticed the time that I'm waiting for my food, because I think as well the thing about Five Guys is that you actually see the chefs actually making it. You don't that you can see them actually.
Yeah.
They take an order as it comes in and they'll make it regardless how busy that they are. There are obviously shortcuts in what they do, you know, like the patties would be pre-made, not as in cooked, but they're already shaped and ready to kind of hit the fryer and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean,
it's funny you say that because as you're talking, like I do like Five Guys. I feel like Five Guys is on the border because I feel like I wait, but not too long. It's
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like they have a limit in how long they know how long each patty should take to cook, and I think that's the key of knowing. Okay, this is. But then again, Five Guys menu is it's very simple. As in, you have like 4 options on there. Well, it's like cheeseburger, hamburger, or a hot dog, right? So you've got 3 main options, and it's either whether you you double it or triple it or single. So they have, you know, each patty should be cooked in, I don't know, hypothetically, 7 minutes or whatever the food health and safety food regulation is of it being well done and stuff like that. But obviously, if you're in a restaurant and you order a burger and you say you don't want it, you want it medium rare, that's completely different. But for fast food joints, they all should be cooked at a certain, you know.
That thing you just said about like the options and stuff, I think that's where a lot of like Caribbean, African restaurants are missing a trick, because I think that
there's too much on their menu.
Yeah. Literally everything under the sun's there. Versus what they could do, like it's like, hey, this restaurant is just called Jollof. That's the main thing. And what do you want it? Do you want it with beef? Do you want it with chicken? Do you want it with da 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 da?
I'm not gonna lie. There are African shops with those 2 options and just fish, beef, or chicken. And there is still a waiting time, but I appreciate it because they're cooking jollof throughout the day, and they're cooking the meat and whatever. But anyway, go on.
No, I was just saying that I think that if more restaurants did that kind of stuff for like African and Caribbean food, like it would minimize like the waiting time to, I guess, somewhere where we would be a bit more comfortable, because you're just ironing out processes. Then once you have a reduced menu, you know, there's less options, less ways that things could go wrong and things like that.
But hey, me, I don't mind waiting as long as the food is great.
And for me, it depends on time. Like it depends on like, because I'm busy.
I know you're always you like on like that kind of like grab and go. But I know this is like one of my favorite places that is like quite where the wait isn't like extensive, but you still, I feel like it's that grab and go kind of culture, but still good food. I know you don't like this place.
Which one?
Leon.
Oh.
I know you don't like it, but I think Leon is like really good for like a grab and go and still good food. Like I like their fish finger wrap to the point where I started doing fish finger wraps on my own at home. I look, you're kissing your teeth. Like I like Leon. Like
Leon,
for me.
I didn't want to like. I'm. Look, I just gotta be real. I wasn't gonna say it, but I just gotta be real. Like Leon is disgusting, right? Everything. That, okay, cool. There's only one thing that I do like from Leon, right?
Yeah.
Just one thing, and that's their Christmas wrap that they do.
I haven't tried it.
So that comes out once a year.
Yeah.
In December. So I guess it's gonna be out anytime now. Everything else, whether it's their cookie or their curry this or their juice, it's just all got this weird, odd taste to it. And it's just like, it's just, for me, it's just so strange that every single dish that they have has this weird taste to it. Like, and I just don't rate.
It's funny because I haven't tried. Yeah, I've tried actually when I used to work for a tech company. I pretty much like Leon was one of their favorite things because it was just really speedy and it came individually boxed so they could just grab it and just get back to looking at pretty numbers and letters on their screen. Tech company. But I like Leon, and I think it's really you know what I like about Leon is
Okay.
it's the first corporation food place I go to, and the food actually comes out steaming hot. It's not lukewarm. I'm yet to have something lukewarm from Leon.
I think this is perhaps the only thing we like really just don't agree
Yeah,
on
we
in
disagree.
food.
I know how much you've told me, but I don't know if you like this company, but I don't like this company.
Which company?
Wagamama.
Um,
I just think it's very salty. Everything just tastes like salt. Anything that I've tried, and I've tried quite a few things in Wagamama, and like the salt content is sky high.
okay, so like Wagamama's strange because I feel like I want to like it. And what I mean by that is I feel I like the way the food comes. I generally like the ingredients.
Yeah.
But like I don't go often enough to remember a dish. So every time I go, it's like I don't remember or know what's good.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like nothing stands out like wow to me. But I like the concept. I like the environment. I just
This is the thing with Wagamama. I love the concept.
Yeah.
I love the environment, like you're saying, but the food is just way too salty for me. And it's one of the places where like when I go out with friends, they're just like, oh, let's just go Wagamama. And I'm like, I actually don't like Wagamama. And they're like, you don't? And I was just like, no. I'd rather go to our little Chinese shop in a corner that only seats like 6 people that I have to wait for a seat. It's like, for real, you don't like Wagamama? And I was just like, no, it's too salty.
You know, touching on Chinese, I can't go to a Chinese takeaway because I feel like they all Chinese takeaway is just it's
Chinese food here isn't really Chinese food. That's one thing.
So don't get me wrong, I love Chinese food. Like if you go to like a restaurant of like proper Chinese food where like you're spending a minimum like a bill, like I love it.
Yeah.
But when it's just done like cheaply, it just all tastes the same.
Like that's true. Like I'm not gonna dispute that. Chinese, like there's possibly one place that near my nan's house that I ordered there from like once, and it was like one of the best kung pao prawns that I've ever had. And anytime that I go into my delivery to order from them, they're always closed. And I was like, I wonder why. It was obviously too good to be true? But like, and then I've ordered the same thing from everywhere else. I mean, it's not as good, but it's kind of just like standard. There is like a standard taste of Chinese food.
I just remembered like when I was like young, the restaurant closed down now. I went to this one restaurant, right? And they had sweet and sour cod.
Yeah.
This thing was beautiful, and I've never like found it again. That was just amazing. Have you had hakkasan?
No, I haven't. People rave about it all the time. You know what? Like, when I get like a lot of people, they're just like, Nastassja, you love like food and you're such a big foodie. Like, you go to the nibbles and the hakkasan. And I'm just like, you know what? I haven't. And I'm not saying that it's because I don't really want to. It's because I suppose it's been kind of played out. So it's like, I don't need to go because I know everybody else has gone and they tell me it's good. I'm more of like the hipster kind of foodie kind of place. Okay. I like to go to those kind of like, like the disappearing diner clubs, like the places that only happen in secret. The things that only happen like once in a blue. There's this thing called Chambers of, is it Chambers of Secret? Something Chambers anyway, and basically it's a whole kind of, it's a dining basically it's like they play it out like you're in a part of a play, but you are eating food in these, and there's a part where you go in and you're on a game show, and then you go in this one they did like last year or 2 years ago when we went, and it's like £60 and it's a whole experience, and it's like it's altogether it's a 6-course meal, and you have your starter, then you have to do like an activity with a starter, and then you go into another chamber, and then it's a palate cleanser, and you do another activity. Then you go onto your mains, and then it's really, really fun. But the food was amazing, amazing. I like going to stuff like that because it's one of those things. They're experiences, and you're never gonna get them again. Hakkasan and your Nobus and Nubus, whatever. Like, I know I can go there anytime, and everybody's been there. It's not that fact that everybody's been there. It's just kind of like, okay. I'll go there when I want to. But then and there's another thing that my friend took me to, which was one of his friend. There's a guy called Chris, and his family have a restaurant. They've got a Japanese restaurant in Brixton. I'll find the name of it in for the next episode. And he has like the sushi club.
Okay. Let
me tell you, that sushi was motherfucking incredible. We had, I think it was a 12-course sushi meal, and it was honestly delicious. And Chris, and it's like he does a maximum of like 9 people, and I think there was like, on this night there was like 7 of us, and my friend invited me. He'd come down from Manchester, and it was like, Stash, let's go to a sushi thing, because he really loves sushi. And he was like, do you like sushi? I was like, yeah, I love sushi. So we went, he took me, and it was such an amazing experience. And that's the kind of things that I like to do, like these very intimate kind of like disappearing clubs, like real good supper, which is just like, it's intimate, it's cozy, it's just real good food, and you're surrounded by, like, not surrounded by other foodies, but you know, the vibe is just like you're all there to have good food, and the interaction is so intimate as well with the food as well. So like the Hackasans and stuff, yeah, I want to go, but I've never been in a rush.
Sure. Look, I've only been once. Well, I go more than once? But I think I went a couple times. I'm not 100% sure, but it wasn't here. It was in Miami. If, you change your mind in the future or what have you, or anybody listening thinking about it.
I'll definitely go to ones abroad. I think when I'm abroad, like when I go on holiday, I'm more into kind of going to these like popular haunts and checking them out. Whereas here, it's just kind of like, I see it on everybody's Instagram. It's like, okay.
I can't lie. The food tasted like the food was banging. Like I can't lie. Just to bring it back to, because we're going on so many tangents today.
I know, like literally, it's been like a spider's web.
But it's all good. More content for the people. Very quickly, I'm just like thinking as I was talking and la la la. But the whole thing about time, I just realized in my head. For me, it's about managing my expectation. For example, if you go to McDonald's and you're in a rush, you're expecting to be in and out within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But if they don't manage your expectation and it takes 10, then you're a bit concerned. Because there's Kate's Cafe in Plaistow, Ghanaian restaurant. The food takes some time, right?
Yeah.
But I'm never disappointed because I love the food.
Yeah.
But I've managed my expectations knowing that I'm prepared to wait.
Yeah.
So I think it's that like feeling, the only word I can think to describe it is betrayed. You know what I mean, though, right? Because look, if you go to, for example, Nando's, right? And that food takes 45 minutes.
You see, Nando's is varied, though, depending on what area you're in. Like, I've been to Nando's where the food has come out so quick, I've had to tell them to take it back because I was worried.
Oh, really?
Like, that food came out. There was one time, like, I went to a Nando's. I can't remember where I was. But this was not in South London.
Yeah.
I think it was in Central, actually. And literally just got to my seat, knew what I wanted, went and ordered it, sat down. Like, within, like, the space of 5 minutes, the food had appeared. And I was like,
That's good service.
No, I was worried because I was just like, what time did you grill my chicken and put the seasoning on? Like, how fast was that? Like, what were you doing? That must have been sitting on the side.
Maybe they were cooking an order for someone else and they cancelled. Like, oh yeah, just...
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I was worried. I was just like, and then I kind of like, I slyly then just asked for something. I asked for something else so she can like,
change your order.
Like, because like there are certain places where I go to which I'm very happy to wait for the food. But there are certain other places where if you bring out my food, like, okay, McDonald's, if they give me my burger and like I order a cheeseburger and they bring the cheeseburger, I'm not worried. It's McDonald's. like you said, I've managed my expectations. I want to go. If I go to Nando's and I literally go up to the counter, and in the time that I'm going to sit back in my seat, and then by the, like 2 minutes later, she's bringing me the food, I'm worried. What time did you grill the chicken, babes? How many other people were in front of me? Because I know there was a crowd of people in front of me.
You know what? I can't, like, maybe because I've never got like food poisoning. I just
no. Well, this is just like, these are the theories that run through my head, innit? Like for me, there's certain places where, you know, give me some like, don't pull up on me like that. Don't pull up on me. Calm down. Like I just placed the order. It don't need to be that quick. And then there's other places where, like you said, McDonald's, like I'm just like, yo, where my burger at? Like, it's McDonald's. You should have this already. But I know that McDonald's is trying to be a bit more kind of like, they're minimizing. And to be honest, when you wait for your, like when I feel like anyway, when restaurants do the whole kind of cook on demand.
Yeah.
It does minimize their food wastage, because I can just imagine how many times like McDonald's has thrown away cheeseburgers because it's just, they're not selling because nobody's ordered it, or they're just prepping it because my guy ain't got nothing to do, or my girl ain't got nothing to do, and they're just prepping it and racking them up. You know what I mean? Yeah, but in high population areas, like say the McDonald's in West End, they are cooking like, they're on a roll because it's so busy. But if you get like those quiet McDonald's in those small little villages where, you know, you get your rushes in between breakfast, lunch, and just before dinner or after dinner, it's different, innit? But yeah, there's certain places where when they pull up on the food too far, I'm just like, slow down, babes. Like I said, if my jollof comes out too fast, I'm like, uncle, was this cooked yesterday or just 5 minutes ago? Tell me now. Like, yo, it's too fast. Like but I think that's my appreciation of like, our culture.
Sure.
Like, you know.
No, I get it. Just that wholesome, well cooked.
Like even in Burger King, I'm actually happy to wait for my burger in Burger King because I know it's real sliced tomatoes.
Fair enough. I think the burgers though, they're like, patty's a patty. It's just not like, we know it's not. You turn a blind eye when you eat those kind of things.
Yeah, definitely.
So
definitely.
I think it's a good time to introduce the flavour from the continent this week.
Lisimba's been choosing them this week. Well, I've been leaving Lisimba to make his choices because when he did ask me, I was just like, oh, crap. I think because you know what it is like, I was going to say popcorn. I was going to do like my homemade popcorn, and I was just like, no, it's not got any time to do that. And then I was thinking about something else. There's something else that I really want us to do flavour of the continent for. I'll do it next week. And we love these things because we tried it at the dessert festival, and I think more people should know about those wheelie things. But we're not going to talk about that this week. It's Lisimba's choice. And these are the things that Lisimba likes.
All right, cool. So
did you hear that? These are the things that Lisimba likes.
No disclaimer there. A little get out of jail free card. Like,
nah, fam. These are the things that Lisimba likes.
Okay.
That he's putting me onto, that he likes.
Saying it, so if it's disgusting, you could be like, hey.
No, they're cookies, innit? They just should bang.
All right, cool. So these are from Sainsbury's, and they're the Taste the Difference quadruple Belgian chocolate cookies. Now, these things are addictive. Like, I could like clean a box easy by myself. I almost cleaned the box like before.
I was going to say this box has already been opened. Therefore, Lisimba's been eating.
I had no, well, I was about to say I had no choice, but yeah, I just like.
This is how I know Lisimba likes them, because the box was already open. Yeah. Like, obviously, it's like me and the Portuguese tarts. Like, I'd already eaten one, and, you know, so I get it. That's why I said this is Lisimba's thing, innit?
All right, cool. I'll let you tuck in.
I'm not sure if I've had the Marks and Spencer's ones. Let's see, because I like the Marks and Spencer's.
Oh, the Marks and Spencer's do ones just like this?
Marks and Spencer's cookies bang. Like, okay. This is not about Marks and Spencer's right now. It's about Sainsbury's.
Oops. I just dropped them. What do you think?
Let it marinate on my tongue.
Yeah, I'm a bit too quick, right?
No, because that's how I know Lisimba likes it. For the fact that I didn't even... No, they're good though.
You rate them? Okay. Yeah, these cookies are really tasty. They're very Moorish. And for me as well, like it's a surprise that like coming from a supermarket, like don't get confused. It's not like an artisan cookie or anything like that, but it's still a very nice, in my opinion, cookie. I'm sure you'll share your thoughts. She's quiet. I think that means she's enjoying, or she's considering her response.
Let me not lie. I'm a huge cookie fan, innit? Mm-hmm. When I say I'm a huge cookie fan, let's not say I'm a huge cookie fan. I'm a huge biscuit fan. You know, so when it comes to biscuits and cookies, yeah, they have a soft spot in my heart. But it's something that I don't, if I'm being honest, I don't buy biscuits and cookies all the time because I will wax them off like you. I'd wax off. Typically, I'd wax off a box of these and feel no way in it.
Easily done.
There's no remorse when I'm eating cookies, innit? Like, I mean, I love cake, but when it comes to biscuits, you can look at the packet, babes, but you ain't touching it. That's how I treat my cookies. Like, look at the back. So I don't buy them that often because it's a real kind of like, I will sink myself into cookies. This is a damn good cookie. Like, if I, like, these are the kind of things that if I had a cup of coffee, oh, Jesus is Lord. You are just looking at the packet. Everybody's just looking at me and the packet, and me and the packet are just having a great conversation. So at the end of the packet, then I'm just like, what did I just do?
You know what's funny? In my old job, there was this running joke because I can snack on like a good bread. I like a good bread, but even like I'd snack on like pita bread or like what do you call it? Like a tortilla, but just the plain thing, like nothing on it, right? And it was funny. There was a running joke because when at work, when I used to go there, I used to come in like after lunch. I go buy one at Sainsbury's, come back and offer like, "Hey, does anybody want any bread?" And be like, "No, I don't want no bread." I was like, "Hey, look, okay, I'm offering, I'm sharing my food."
Yeah.
When the cookies come in, I never shared, never offered no one none. So they all see me and then, but no one's asking. But there was a running joke, hey, like when you bring cookies, you don't want to offer no one no cookies.
Now, I feel you on that one, Lisimba, because like, yo, that's a good cookie. That's just like, I would never buy those, like, because if I bought those, that's just tea time over for me. Like, you know, like
easily the whole box.
Like I get it now. Easily the whole box with you. Like the box wouldn't stand a chance. And see it on the shelf, and it's just like you're already finished. You know?
Yeah, 100%.
So
100%.
that is a good.
I was actually proud of myself that I stopped at 2 before I.
I mean, I'm proud of you too. I'm not even gonna lie, because I would have just said let third one for luck in it. And you know, especially coming up to Christmas time, the flavors of cookies that they got out there.
Are you going to like Winter Wonderland, all that kind of stuff?
I've never been, actually. I've wanted to go.
The one that I went, there was this one scary ride. Like, so basically, it's like a mad pole, right? That goes up into the sky, right?
And then it just drops.
Yeah.
I've been on something like that.
That thing scared the life out of me.
I think they had one in, is it Thorpe Park or Chessington or Alton Towers? Like one of those theme parks. Like, yeah, and it's just like the drop. It's just like, no, I'm lying. This is where I went on it. When I went to Florida.
Okay.
There was a theme park near the hotel that we stayed at. And they had like just a drop one. Let me tell you, I thought my heart was still in that. Like, I thought I left my heart in the air. Like because when it just came down, I was just like,
yeah. It's mad.
Like it just, yeah.
Because the one I went on, I don't know. I don't want to like bullshit how high this thing was, but it's very, very, very high.
Yeah.
It went halfway, right? And I thought that's just where the ride is set, right? Dropped, and then my heart fell out my mouth, right? Then it goes back up, but past the halfway mark, right to the top. And when that thing comes down, it's just like, yeah, that's just like...
Yeah. I don't know. As I've gotten old, like, I don't know. It's weird because as I've gotten older, I look at certain rides. Like when I was in Copenhagen, we went to a theme park and they had that ride there, but we didn't go on it. But we went on all the other rides and it was just, yeah. I mean, there's this one ride we went on. I forgot what it was called. It was like some Japanese runaway train. And
Okay.
that one was like freakish. That went upside down and all sorts. And it was just, I came off of that and I was like, I think I'm done for today now. And then I saw that kind of drop one. And I was like, it was a drop one, but with swings.
Swings.
Yeah, so it was like it went up and down. It had like a swing kind of. I was just like, I'm not sure if my heart could take that. Like, think
The one when like you're in the middle and it shoots you up. Not that one.
it went basically. It was an up and down swing ride. So
Okay.
like it had swings which went around, but it's like it was going up and down a little bit. I don't know what the fuck that ride was doing, but I looked at it and I was just like, no, I think we're done for today.
Sure. Actually, I haven't been to a theme park in a while. I think, but yeah, it's not the weather for it.
Let me tell you,
It's cold.
it's chapping.
So, guys, I want to thank you guys for watching another episode. Was there anything you wanted to touch on? Wanted to add?
Oh yeah, so the Christmas fair. Oh my gosh, like literally, I'm just so frazzled. So the Christmas fair I'm actually doing is on Thursday the 5th. I don't know where I got Friday from, but obviously in my head everything great happens on a Friday. But it's Thursday the 5th. It's going to be at the Rich Mix. It's being hosted by Afford Business UK. And yeah, come through if you're around. I'm going to have loads of like little things. Yeah, so I'm going to have like loads of like loaf cakes and stuff like that. And yeah, just come through, enjoy and have a slice of cake.
Amazing.
And there's going to be other stores. It's not just me. I just want to say that. It's not just me. It's other people. There's going to be other, I think it's more black businesses. So
Okay.
it's really, really good. So like black businesses in the UK. So come down and get a slice of cake. Unfortunately, I won't be doing coffee, but I'm sure there's like coffee shops around.
Yeah, this is like London. Like there's coffee shops dime a dozen. Like,
No. There's a Pret on every corner now.
There you go. Question of the day.
Question of the day. We've been talking about food service and like waiting. But do you like waiting? This is actually really simple. Do you like waiting for your food or not?
Let us know how long's too long.
Yeah, how long is too long to wait for your food? Or is there even a time span of waiting for food? Depending on where you're from.
Yeah. That's very interesting, actually. Like, let us know where you're from and how long is too long.
Yeah.
And yeah, hit us up in the comments for all our social channels where you can find this Juice and the Sauce podcast.
Yeah.
And Nastassja's going to hit us up with the outro.
Well, tune in weekly. Oh my gosh, you know what? Like, honestly, I've already fucked up and it's just like, tune in weekly for your weekly belly full plate of a meal. Like, oh my gosh. Like, one more time. Tune in weekly for your belly full. Oh shit. Like, literally, I zoned out. Tune in weekly for your weekly belly full plate of a meal. We juicing while the sauce be dripping.
Third time lucky. It's all good.
Third time lucky. Sorry. As we go along, I'm going to get better at this. Like, and I'm just going to remix. And you know what? I'm going to start remixing it. Like, yeah.
Cool.
And I know I didn't write this. Somebody else did.
Are you sure?
Joking.
Are you sure?
Yeah, so we be juicing while the sauce be dripping.
100%. All right, guys. See you guys next week.
Bye.